Queens.
Hi,
Hi,
how are you today?
I'm doing well.
Did you go outside? The weather was so good.
No, I stayed indoors today.
Oh, wow.
I was out yesterday.
Me too, but I've been out front. I was out front enjoying the fresh breeze and the sun.
Okay. I was enjoying some cricket and some
Oh,
athletics
okay,
today.
thank you. We're about to begin,
Oh,
ladies and
okay.
gentlemen.
Okay.
Enjoy the show.
Jefferson Wooden has been the supreme sprinter in the women's 100 meters.
Whose radio, please? Whose radio? Thank you. Mute, and let me go. All right. Good evening to our viewers on YouTube. A warm welcome to our listeners on Caribbean Global Voices and listeners on 2020 Vision Radio, St. Kitts and Nevis. Special welcome to SoSoFat Media Group listeners and viewers. This is the Cricket Show USA. I'm Dennis Heath. We're celebrating 15 years of the Cricket Show. We bring you news, views, match, scores, results, discussions, opinions, and commentary. We invite your feedback, comments, and questions. Contact us at media@cricketshow.org, media@cricketshow.org, and the Cricket Show at comcast.net. Also joining us today, we have founder president of the Cricket Show, Leon Francis. We have Trevor Smith from Sorbonne, the professor. We have former West Indies cricketer and coach Gus Logie, Donna Brown, Hyacinth Christian, Jatin Patel, Michael Chambers. We also have Michael Chambers and, of course, Myrtrice Nisbet, along with Ivor Henry. As is our custom today, we ask Leon to give us the invocation. Thank you, Leon.
Yes. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for your giving us this opportunity to host yet another show. We ask your blessing and prayers for all our panelists, including our guest speaker today, Mr. Gus Logie. We also want you to bless all our listeners for wherever they may be. Bless our host, Dennis. We also want to bless each and everyone who may be coming on to speak with us later today as well. We thank you for this wonderful day, and we just hope that you will just help the sponsors, the ones who helped us financially, those who do so morally, to have this show go on without any interruptions whatsoever. We are grateful for the help you've given over the past years, and we trust that today's show will be one to be remembered. Father, as we usually do each and every week, we ask that you bless the ones that are ailing, namely Mr. Father Brown and Mother Brown over there in Nevis, Bobsy and Myrtrice Nisbet in New York, Alison Gilbert of Vision 2020, as well as Dr. Leroy Lashley and his wife Anne. Patrick Chaffon, Connie Whitley, and Ellie Matt, we all ask your blessing on them as well. We pray for Nat Patel and his entire family, as well as Oliver Solomon, Elcomido Willett and his family, our dear brother David Christian and his wife Hyacinth, who is on the panel with us this evening, Lord. We pray for my siblings, Gabriel, Sharon, and Telberth, as well as my schoolmate Joseph Guntrap and Mona and her daughter. We pray for Dr. Eugene Francis and his wife Melanie, as well as Gina Hughes, my niece, and Dr. Roger Brown and family. We pray for Alpheus Philip and Fillmore Hallpike, as well as his sister Geraldine. And for those who have not expressed their concerns, Lord, we pray for them. We hope you just bless them, heal them from the bottom of their feet to the top of their heads, Lord. And most of all, let this show go on without any interruptions. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Oh, we thank you very much, Leon. Thank you for that. And of course, once again, we're very proud, pleased, and happy to have Gus Logie back with us, continuing with the series on building champions, a motivational presentation. We have found this very, very, very useful, very beneficial, and very informative. And I know today Gus will continue in that same line, giving us some more motivation as players, and not necessarily just as players, but in your daily life. I'm sure you can apply some of Gus's motivational discussion in your daily life to improve. Good evening to you, Gus.
Good
My
evening,
apologies,
good
and
evening.
welcome.
Thank you very much, and good evening to everyone, ladies and gentlemen. It's another week. It's certainly been flying fast. I think I'm getting older. Yes, I think this is the month of September. It is my birthday month, I must say, and it reminds me of so many things happened in September. But today is we'll go into lesson 7.
And before you go, Gus, please excuse my interruption, but it is the hour of the Cricket Show, USA, the Cricket Hall of Fame, first in the world since 1980, and the American Cricket Education Council, ACEC, is pleased to welcome the weekly joint collaborative broadcast of the Coach's Corner. Generally, we have Coach Jatin Patel as our presenter on this Coaching Corner, but for this week, we're having Gus with his continuing series. Thank you, and pardon the interruption.
No
Back
problem.
to you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes, as I said, today we are speaking about lessons from losses and how champions deal with defeat. And says defeat is not a lost cause, it is an opportunity to learn more about winning. So we have 5 principles for dealing with defeat. Principle 1, don't be intimidated by failure. So consider failure as an unusual doorway to your next opportunity for success. And your test is not unique. Someone has experienced it at some time or another. But God has kept his promise, and he will not allow you to be tested beyond your power to remain firm at the time that you are put to the test. He will give you the strength to enjoy it and provide you with a way out. Failure can often seem quite an overwhelming experience that wants to pressure you to give up without making any further attempts at your life's goals. Whether it is a single event or a series of failures, never allow yourself to be intimidated by the occurrence of failure. A true champion is not daunted by failure, but is positively challenged by it to fight, to learn from the incident, and to find a way to win. So you are a champion. Dig deep. Success is within you. So let's learn from the experiences and go on. Failure promotes discouragement and doubt, but the will to win must never die. If you can look past the foreground of failure, you will see a background of success. Success often comes at the risk of failure. The ability to overcome failure is a significant mark of a successful person. So let's make it personal. I refuse to quit. I am ready to fight again. I may have lost, but I am not defeated. I will look past failure and press on to success. So this is the first principle. Don't be intimidated by failure. And I rest there.
Thank you, Gus. And principle 1, don't be intimidated by failure. And Donna has the first question for you tonight.
Okay.
Yes, good night again, everyone. Good night, Mr. Logie. How are you
Good night.
doing?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm good.
Good.
So
You're
my
pressing
question
on.
is, a series of failures suggests to a
Mhm.
player that he or she is at the bottom of the pile. How will that player become motivated to rise from the floor?
Well, that's a very, very good question. And it keeps saying to your goals, you must be having your goals and attempt at your life's goal. What is your goal? What is the end product you want? You have to factor in that in activities, whether it's sporting activities or whether it's something you are in life, you're going to encounter disappointments. You're going to encounter setbacks. If you want to call it failures, you will encounter failures. But you shouldn't let that deter you from your life's goal, from the goal that you set for yourself, whether you're a sportsman, a sportswoman, or anything in life. That goal must be paramount. And you must have in the back of your mind reasons why I fail. You can learn lessons from that. But you don't give up. That's what we keep saying all the time. Don't give up. The goal must be paramount, and you must be able to keep going with that goal in mind.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gus. And Mertrice has the second question for you.
Sure.
Good afternoon.
My apologies. My apologies. That should have been, I should have said Hyacinth.
Hi.
Hyacinth.
Right. Okay, good evening, everyone. Hi, guys.
Hi,
My
good evening.
is Principle 7. Right. A professional approach. Principles, and we're doing Principle
Principle
7.
1.
Don't be intimidated. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yes, right, yes. Don't be
Don't be
intimidated by
intimidated
failure.
by failure.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes, they say I may have lost, but I'm not defeated. How can you say I may have lost, but I'm not defeated? You have not won. So how can you not be defeated?
Yes, and that is a good metaphor. At the end of the day, you will have lost, but at the end of the day, you're thinking about a game. You're thinking about as a team. You're thinking about maybe the series. You may be thinking about something within yourself as an individual. You would have lost something, but you're not defeated. You're defeated means your mental capacity to deal with situations that comes up again. You are not defeated in that way. You understand what I'm saying? You may lose in a single event, but you are not defeated as a person. You're not defeated in your will to succeed. You're not defeated in the ambitions that you have. You're not defeated in your goals that you have. You've only lost one little battle.
Yeah. So that could even make you more determined to win the next one.
Exactly, because it's an unusual doorway to success. You would have learned from it, and that's what makes it so interesting. Okay?
Yeah. Understand. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Leon, a question for Gus? Okay, Leon's not present. Professor Sosabon, question?
Yes, Professor Logie. You have had major success as a coach, and you have coached in various places. Now, having had success, how do you
Sorry, I'm not hearing you.
How do you justify moving on moving on to another program, and how is your what is your reception like when you go from team to team, since you have coached more than one team?
Yes. Well, let's put it this way. I've also had some failures. It's not just about the successes, but you do have the failures. So you get the good with the bad. You learn from the failures at the end of the day, and you move on. And I think it's something you also pass on to the young men you are involved with as well. But there are some times in life you have to know, like I remember there's a song by Kenny Rogers, you got to know when to fold up, when to walk away, when to run. Okay. I think you reach to a stage where you would have given all that you can to a particular organization or a particular group, and it's now time to move on to somebody else. Sometimes I say to the young men, maybe you need to hear a different voice. Okay. You need to see a different way. Maybe somebody else may come in who's younger, who might be more vibrant, who may have a different way of showing, because you get to a stage when you're coaching young people, after a while, it gets to a stage where it gets a bit stale, if you want to call it that, because we're over the same thing over and over. And that's why we talk about coaches. You always have to be at the cutting edge of technology, at the cutting edge of what is new and happening around you. But I think sometimes as a coach itself, you get a little bit, I would say, demotivated, working with the same group over and over and over again. You just want a challenge. And the challenge is that, can I move on to somewhere else? Let's see if that success then, or that philosophy then, can bear root in another area. So I think sometimes it happens. Sometimes even before they fire you, you can move,
Dennis, I'm back. If you.
All right, go ahead, Leon. You have a question for Gus?
Yes, Brother Gus, thanks for being born in September. I too was born there long before you. Nevertheless, how do you, if you have a challenge with a certain part of your game, relate to your fellow players and ask for assistance?
How do you deal with it?
Yeah, and deal with it.
But
And
well,
and then
I said,
approach them.
yeah. Well, I think it's very important that in a group environment, I mean, one of the things we talk about, what holds that group together is unity, and unity is very important. And there's what you call an agreement in order to make that unity even stronger. We agree on certain things. And the same way we agree to help each other, we agree to support each other, we agree to respect each other. And at the end of the video, we agree to feel good for each other when they do well. And even when they don't do well, we agree to empathize and to lift them. So I think in situations like that, you can sense if a player or two is not really where he needs to be or she needs to be. And if you can lend the support or helping hand because of your own experiences, many times you would have gone through the same things before. So it's now your experience you're passing on to the individuals and say, maybe if you try X or try Y, maybe things might turn around. But I think that's going to be important.
Thanks.
Okay, any other question for Gus? No, okay.
Hey.
Gus, please.
So good. So number 2, understand the forces of influence. Influences affect success and failure. I will behave wisely in a perfect way. Everyone is influenced in one way or another. It is certainly that state of being of each individual will directly or indirectly affect the function of the team favorably or unfavorably. Therefore, being able to identify and understand such prevailing positive or negative forces of influence will significantly help towards managing the underlying mood of a team or group in order to promote and maintain the prime objective of winning and succeeding. So consider, for example, if the force that influences the result of success is winning, then it is logical to recognize the following. The force of failure is losing. The force of hope is faith. The force of faith is belief. The force of belief is knowledge. The force of hopelessness is fear. The force of fear is unbelief. The force of unbelief is ignorance. The force of creativity is vision. The force of vision is inspiration. The force of productivity is work. The force of lack is laziness. The force of encouragement is success. The force of discouragement is failure. The force of effort is reward. The force of strength is health. The force of weakness is sickness. The force of selfishness is greed. And the force of stamina is training. The force of sluggishness is inactivity. The force of division is disagreement. And the force of unity is agreement. So let's make it personal. I refuse to allow anything negative to influence my actions. I will be positive in everything I do. Understanding the force of influence.
Well, Gus, you covered all the bases with that one. I don't think there might be too many questions, but
Well,
let's throw it out there and see. Any questions for Gus from anyone?
Yeah. Gus, do you in when you play in a group setting, is there any one thing that the group will take as if they're failing to do to lift them up? And if they're doing something well, to continue? In other words, if you are being sledged in Australia and then you use a certain tactics to overcome that sledging, is there anything that you can share with us that the West?
I think it's very interesting because sledging is something that some players can elevate their game when being sledged. Let's put it this way. And some players motivate themselves even more when they are being put under pressure or challenged by the opposition. They want to prove them wrong. And then there are some players, again, who look for what you would call flight. So they want to run away from that situation. They don't want to deal with that situation. I can give you some examples. In Australia, for example, I used to deal with sledging by saying to them, whatever they said to me, I used to just say, thank you. And they couldn't understand why. But other players would want to challenge them for a round of fight after the game is finished at the back of the club or something like that, But many people, I remember one time border Rodney Hogg was saying to his captain, this guy is, he's just saying thank you, and he's agitated more than anything else. So I remember Border asking the umpire, well, what it is I was saying to his bowler, and he said, all he's saying is thank you. But I was saying thank you from the point of view is that you are not going to take me away from my game. I know exactly what you were trying. So I was focusing more on the scoreboard and what the scoreboard is saying, what I have to do. So my focus was within me and what I could control, not what was happening around me. But as I said before, one of the things we always tell our players beforehand is to warn you, is always like preparation, warn you before you get onto the field or against any opposition, what is likely to happen. How then do you form your responses to that? How then do you check your emotions and focus your energies on what is necessary and required of the team to be successful? Yes, inevitably, some players find it difficult to not respond when sledging takes place. And I said earlier on, sometimes the sledging is not just a funny sledge. Maybe sometimes they say funny things to you and you can even laugh at it. But sometimes they say hurtful things, you know. And I think when it reaches home, I think some players then react, you know, possibly the wrong way. But believe it or not, at the end of the game, those same Australian players, they were the first to invite you to their rooms to have a drink, you know. Once the game was finished, they say, hey, man, come and have a drink, come and have a beer, come and have whatever. You know, many of us, well, I myself, I remember people like Roger Harper, we are not drinkers. So we used to call it, oh, you want something soft? Yeah, we got something soft, no problem. But the point is that this sledging was on the field. Off the field, they invite you to have a drink and to talk about the game and see where it goes. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Any other question? Otherwise, it's back to Gus.
Professor, the sledging sometimes comes from the audience, the fans. For example, we went through a very, very challenging phase with West Indies cricket. And everybody was calling not only for the head of West Indies cricket, president, coach, and players, okay? And the players who they're looking to replace the players who are not performing, they're hearing this criticism.
Yeah.
Okay? And you have to ask yourself the question, are they really volunteering to walk into that environment, to walk into the lion's den when the lion is chewing up all who went before? So how do you address that now from a coaching perspective and from a player's perspective?
Yeah, well, what we keep telling the players, look, you got to believe. You can get frustrated many times when that kind of not constructive criticism comes your way from your own supporters, especially when you're not doing well, you know. But we try to let players know that, look, your belief, our belief in your ability must be more important and override the frustrations that you feel coming from your supporters, sometimes from the opposition. It is very, very important. And I think it's also very important to let them know that the criticism sometimes, and it should not be personal. Let's put it this way. The criticism that comes sometimes is about your performance or lack of performance. And don't take it personally as, you know, they're speaking to you as a person, as a human being. Sometimes it gets to that stage. And I think that's when it goes overboard. And I think it goes to the stage where they attack you as a person. But I think once the attack is about the performance, you now have it within yourself, in your capabilities to improve that performance. Because tomorrow you improve that performance, those same fans will now be calling your name. Those same fans will be jumping in the stands, praising you to the hilt. And I think it happened just a few weeks ago when we had the discussion about dropping catches, right? There was a guy in Barbados who was dropping out a few catches. I think last week we discussed whether or not, what do you do about an individual like that? And you could imagine the amount of criticism he would have taken from the crowds in Barbados. But 2 days later, he was their hero. you know, because he came back, he took a few catches, he took a few wickets, and he was the same green guy that they were looking to call black a few days ago. They were calling him whatever it was now, they were calling him white, right? So I think at the end of the day, you speak to the players in those kind of nurturing way and letting them understand that, look, poor performances today is not going to be something that's going to last. It's like everything else. You're going to improve, but you got to make sure you make that effort to really and truly improve your performances so that you get the fans back on your side.
Yeah, I have a question, please.
Sure.
Yes, go right ahead.
Mr. Logie, with all those sledging going on, how do the umpires respond to the derogatory sledging?
Yes, well, there are certain levels that you cannot cross, and the umpires will then intervene once you, as a person, would have said something that degrades or denigrates another human being. For instance, racial slurs, slurs about people's parenting, and you know these things are not allowed. Once it's within a shot of the umpire, he will then take action. He can report you to the match referee. You can be then suspended. You can be fined. Once it doesn't get physical, once something gets physical, then of course suspension comes in. And of course, you can be suspended from the game. But certainly there are different levels of sledging. We have had cricket matches where people will come up in people's faces and say things to them. That is not allowed, really and truly, and therefore it could be a level 1 offense. If it happens twice in the game, you can then go to a level 2, and then you could be then suspended or fined.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I just a quick follow-up. You know, there was a time, I think, with a Colombian soccer player, where he scored an own goal, I think, in the World Cup. And when he went back home, he was shot.
They're killing me.
Now, what effect do you think that have now on aspiring soccer players who expects to do and go and join a national team, and knowing that because of people gambling on the game and all the other things that's tied to it, their failure or lack of success is being taken personally?
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I wouldn't like to think it happens across the board, but certainly in Colombia, and I think we understand the dynamics there politically and otherwise. And you many times you talk about the geopolitics, when we understand the geopolitics in Colombia itself and the culture in Colombia. I think when you did research as to who the individual was, you would have understand where the whole thing came from, you know, the connections and stuff like that. So I would think that in that particular circumstances is unacceptable, and at the end of the day, one can hope that it's not something that will happen again. But I would think most of the footballing nation, most of the sporting nations, I don't think they treat their heroes, if you want to call it like that, one way or the other. They can understand, they can empathize. Yes, social media is out there and you get a lot of bashing. That's why I try to tell my players, do not read some of the social media posts. You're going to get upset if you cannot handle it. Don't, because many times it's good to read the good posts and the one that supports you, encourages you, motivates you. But then what about the ones, as you said, that pulls you down, that says all the mean things about you and your family and your friends and stuff? And that's the side of the sport that is very difficult. And that's where mentally strong individuals, we need to make sure that our young people are mentally strong to handle that kind of pressure and to make them believe in them all the time, to let them know, yes, you may have failed, but you are not a failure. You may have failed in a game, but you are not a failure. You have to keep repeating that to them all the time. You are valued. You are somebody's mother. You are somebody's brother. You're somebody's sister. You're somebody, you know, the point of the matter is that you have people around who love you, whether you score runs or you don't score runs. But that's an aside.
Thank you. Gus, you may continue.
Okay, 3, we're going to go to management of failure. And of course, do not be dictated to or governed by the influence of failure. No matter how often honest people fall, they always get up again. As the opposite of success, the experience of failure can be demoralizing and habit-forming, if not properly managed. The effect of defeat can severely damage the prospect of future successes. through such tendencies, including loss of confidence, stress, anxiety, or even depression. Regular recurring failure can easily become a most unwelcome trend if not checked. It is essential to always realize that there is a significant difference between having failed and being a failure. While there are occasions when you may fail, it is in no way suggest that you are a failure. To have failed is to gain an opportunity to learn how to succeed. Never accept defeat as the final note in any activity. Always pick yourself up and get ready to pursue victory again. So let's learn from occasions of failure. Failure is a better teacher than success. It teaches more profound lessons. Failure should provoke greater determination to succeed. Never stop trying because of failure. Victory may come at your very next effort. To fail is to learn what works and what does not. How you manage failure will determine how you obtain success. So let's make it personal. I may have failed, but I'm not a failure. I can turn failure into success. I will never stay down. I will always rise up to victory.
Coach Gozi, can you expand a little for us on if failure is not properly managed?
Yes, of course. As I said, when you fail, no two ways about it. The effects can be severely damaging to many people. We've had people who have failed and they suffer from stress. The anxiety level raises because not only from the actual failure, but from the consequences of having failed. And we just alluded to that, the crowd reaction. You understand? Sometimes your close relatives' reaction, people closest to you, how they react to you, because everybody wants to be around a winner. Because that's just the way we seem to be. And we don't really and truly pay too much attention for the mental well-being of the individual who have just been beaten in, whether it's an individual game or just been beaten as a team. Even though that individual may have done well within the team, but the team loses, he still feels a certain way. And I think sometimes we come down on them and we tell them things, not realizing, hey, but for the player themselves, it is a lot. The quicker you can then regroup and get back into the action. It's almost to say if you fall off a horse, get back quickly so that you don't get that fear of falling. You get back on the horse as quickly as possible. So another game could come around and then of course you can turn it around. But of course it can have the liberating effect on an individual if failure is repeated and accepted. And I think that's going to be very important. If you have to accept failure, that I am a failure, you may want to get out of the game. We have a lot of people who may not play the game much longer because they keep failing. And of course, they start believing that they cannot turn it around. And I think you've got to manage that as best as possible.
Thank you. Thank you, Gus. Any other questions for Gus on that?
Yes. Gus, have you ever met the great author C.L.R. James?
No, I haven't. No, I've heard about him. I read Beyond a Boundary, but I haven't met him. No, I think he would have. I think when my growing up, he was in England. I think it was. He lived in England for a while, and then he passed away before I really got a chance to.
Some of what you hear, you're bringing to us in these episodes. I see something in them as well as his book. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, Professor.
Yeah.
What is the level of competitiveness on the team itself, even though they classify themselves as a team?
Right.
When it comes to batting, when it comes to bowling, so that when a game is over and one bowler took 5 wickets and another gave up 79 runs and never took a wicket, what is the level of competitiveness on the team when it comes to individual performance now?
Yes. Well, yes. I mean, as athletes, you are competitive. You are sort of trained to be competitive. It brings out the best in each person. If I can challenge you to be the best you can be, the chances are that I will grow, you will grow, the team will grow. So we challenge each other in that way. But we also cooperate a lot with each other. We also support each other. We also feel good for each other when you do well. We also empathize with each other when you don't do well. So I think in a context like that, You know, if you didn't do well in a particular game, I would guarantee you that that team members, even though they will be disappointed because your performance may have caused us to lose a game in terms of not taking a wicket and giving up a lot of runs, but the team will rally around that individual as best as possible because that belief in each other is there. The reason why you are on this team is because we believe in you. And remember, we talked about the successes, the failure might be today, but you have had a whole history of success before you. You understand? And there's a possibility that you will have success in the future. So we really and truly try to make sure we encourage as best as possible. Of course, if the failure has a prolonged effect, obviously after doing all that which was done as support and encouragement and no improvement, well then of course, like everything else, you find that selectors may decide, well, this individual is just not up to it and maybe we need a change here and there. But I think by that time, you as an individual will accept the fact that I have not been pulling my weight, I have not been contributing as consistently as I can and should be, and maybe I need to take a step back, go back to the drawing board, as they keep saying in the Caribbean, and come again.
Yes, but what a follow-up to that. You know, in the case of the West Indies, where we said that the team has not been doing well. And then we hear that there are certain players who are getting a lot of attention just to play T20. And they might not be available for Test cricket. Okay. What effect does that have on the team, knowing that they have star players who might be able to uplift West Indies in Test cricket, but they are not available because of scheduling, because of contracts they have to sign in other places with other teams or clubs? So we are looking at West Indies as sitting in the 9th position when they're thinking that if they had all their players, they could be challenging for 2nd or 3rd or 1st position.
Well, I think, you know, in an ideal world, let's put it this way, in an ideal world, we would want our best players to represent us all the time and every time. But unfortunately, we are not living in an ideal world. Players now have choices, and players now are exercising their choices as much as they can. And of course, their priorities in today's world is not like priorities possibly in the past where you only had maybe 1 or 2 options. You know, either you play a bit of county cricket or you played for the West Indies. Many people just had that one option to play for the West Indies. Now these players have 4, 5, 6 different options. And sometimes you may take possibly the easiest route. You know, playing for the West Indies takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of responsibility. It's certainly a lot more hard work than many people will think. And just as you said, the expectations of playing for a West Indies community is so much more. You have to understand why you're playing for the West Indies. Wearing that crest must be pride. You must have a passion for it. You know, it is not just, you know, a fly-by-night decision to want to play for the Caribbean. You're not just playing for Trinidad, you're not just playing for Barbados, you are playing for every single island in the Caribbean. And I think that is a hell of a responsibility for any young man. And you have to give them credit for those who want to do so at the expense of possibly the franchise cricket. But as it goes on, we have to now appreciate them even more for doing it because they are making a commitment and sometimes they are losing out financially for doing so. You know, and I think if you had listened to some of the comments over the last few years of some players would tell you they committed to West Indies cricket and then they were discarded. If they had known differently, they would have played more franchise cricket and made more for their families. And then you have, you know, a lot of former players who will tell you, I sweat for the West Indies and then they discard me, you know. So, you know, the young people coming today are listening, they are hearing, they are seeing, and they want the best for themselves and their families. And they're going to make the decision that is best for themselves. If in making that decision, they can afford to play for West Indies, they will do so. But I don't think many players today are going to say to themselves, my first priority is playing for the West Indies against the franchise, the IPL, or all the other things. Many of them will tell you, West Indies might be my second team or my third team. If they're honest, they will tell you that.
Good. Okay, I think you can continue, Gus.
Okay. Okay, so we move on from management of failure to let's break the cycle of losing. Okay, get back on the course of success. He lifted me out of the ditch, pulled me from the deep mud. He stood me up on a solid rock to make sure I would not slip. So regular defeat can easily form a vicious cycle from which it is very difficult to escape. It will take a defiant character with great determination and resolve to break out of the prison of failing. It can be done, however. Everything in life works by principle. There are principles that establish success regardless of the prevailing climate of defeat. Repeated failure often negatively affects rhythm. A lack of rhythm is simply a breakdown of principles. So get back to the first principle and reestablish rhythm. Right principles guarantee right results. So let's break the cycle of losing. A game may be lost, but never lose winning principles. In the darkest moment when everything may appear gloomy, look to the light of principles for clarity. When all else fails, get back to basics. So let's make it personal. I refuse to be a prisoner of failure. I know how to win, and win I shall win. I will draw victory out of defeat. I will not allow losing to affect my purpose of winning. So break the cycle of losing.
The great Sir Viv uses the chewing gum to help him. Yeah, and they say Lawrence Rose whistles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
some folks cannot get over the stigma of being nervous. I remember standing next to a young man in Antigua who was going to face Lily. And if you touched him, he would have fallen. But he was scared. But what did you use to overcome the fear of failure?
Well, I don't know if, I must admit that I grew up in that's what I grew up in the church. Maybe I had a grounding that was a lot more firmer than some youngsters today. So I grew up in the church, and that's why this book, Building Champion, has a bit of religious quotes in it, motivational quotes. And the reason for doing so is because of my own belief system. I believe that with God, all things are possible. So I used to walk out to the middle and actually say a prayer. I used to be saying a prayer while I'm walking out, and whether it was the Lord is my shepherd or, protect me from all harm and danger, whatever comes to my mind, I would pray. But that was not the overriding factor. That was just the finishing touches to all the work that you would have put in. You see, all the preparation, all the hard yards, all the technical and tactical and mental preparation that you would have already done before going out there. So now all you need is a little bit of divine intervention, if you want to call it that, and you feel, that you're not ready. You have on the armor and you're ready to do battle. Yes, it may not be bound to a big score, but at least you went out there believing that you will be okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Can you expand for us? Right principles guarantee right results. Expand on that a little for us.
Yes. Well, as I said before, at the end of the day, we are in a situation when we talk about principles. Right principles comes back to doing what is right in terms of your own preparation, whether it's a team preparation, whether it's in terms of the individual preparation. So we know that if we train right, if we eat right, we sleep right, we plan right, there's every possibility that at the end of the day, you will get the results that is necessary and needed. If you don't, we know what the opposites, what the result's going to be. So I think right principles for me is about the right preparation, doing the right things at the right time, saying the right things. you know, to each other as a teammate. I mean, before we go out, we used to gather around, we say a prayer, yeah, but we would support each other, we wish each other all the best. All these things are right principles within the team environment. And all these things help to promote goodwill among the teammates. It helps to build teammates. It helps to support teammates because you need each other out there. We talk about all the things that are necessary for us to be successful as a team. So to me, without those right principles, you are just a group of individuals who may be going in different directions and unable to really and truly come together to be as successful as you want to be.
Thank you. Any questions from the panelists?
In theory, Professor, in theory, we know that that is the message. But at the same time, we look at the status of West Indies cricket, understand why we are at a certain level, lack of financing. We look at how the ICC money is being distributed, that India, UK, and Australia, they get the lion's share. And we all recognize and we speak about that privately and publicly.
Yeah.
So when we see them at the top of the ladder, 1, 2, 3, do we really have respect for their performance at the lower level like West Indies cricket, which is being starved?
You know, that's the reality. That's the reality. And it has been like that for a long, long time. Believe it or not, it is now highlighted even more now in the age of what you call globalism, if you want to call it that. And of course, so many things now are coming to the fore. But I still believe West Indies cricket has what it takes to still dominate on the world stage. It may be in the T20 format, when you look at the number of players that we have playing in all these professional leagues, you know, it's no two ways about it. We are still, you know, players who are needed here, there, and everywhere. I still believe if we can come together as a team and really create that environment that is needed as a group of players committed to really improving West Indies cricket, in spite of the lack of facilities that we have throughout the Caribbean, in spite of the lack of resources we have, in spite of so many issues that we seem to put at the forefront, what it really takes is like-minded individuals as players to come together and say, as a team, we are determined to change things. We are determined to go out there and produce our best effort every single day. There is nothing stopping us on this earth from doing that but ourselves. No amount of money going to change that. That mindset must come from within. That motivation must come from within. That love for West Indies cricket must come from within. Each individual must be self-motivated enough to be the best that they can be in order to serve the collective will of the team. And I am telling you, in the past, we had little facilities, less than it has now.
Good.
You understand? We had little technology, we had none. We relied on ourselves to remember how individuals play. We sat, we discussed. You understand? Some of these players today have even more ability than some of us had in the past. Believe me, the things they're doing now is incredible. It's there. They have to sit and say, yeah, enough is enough. You know, we can do this. We cannot be always looking at the outside for that help to come from outside. It's not going to come. It never came in the past. It's not going to come now. We have it within ourselves to be victorious and to be successful. We just got to believe and work and work and work. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Yes. Yes, Dennis. And just to follow up, West Indies are going to India in October. They're going to be playing two test matches. The team has not been announced yet. I don't know if it has been picked. But then when you look at how India performed in England recently, and you're going to send some new blood into your team to India, never faced the crowd, never had that opposition before. It must be very challenging.
It is, and you have just said something. Now, if you knew and you are aware that the team is going to India in another few weeks, really and truly, don't you think the powers that be, the people who really directly to make those decisions and they're aware of it, you have to find out why are they not making the necessary, announcements, why are not putting things in place. It doesn't take money to do that. It takes a will. It takes the will. That's the will to do the right things. That's what I said. Do the right things. Stick with the right principles. If you know teams are going to be going, you say to yourself, let's select the team. Nothing is wrong in saying, let's select the team now. Let's have them in a camp now. Let's work with them now. If you had to send them earlier on to India, let's do that. There's nothing stopping anyone from doing that. It's the will to do it. And if the will is not there, it makes it very difficult. The will to do it must be there. We all want to win, but we're not willing to do what is necessary for us to win.
And that robs the team of mentally preparing themselves.
It does. And that's what I'm saying. Now, what you will like is the individuals who may think, again, who might be selected. Maybe some of them are in touch with the selectors. Maybe the selectors have said something to them that we are looking at you for a tour of India. So that individual now will have to start preparing himself in the best possible way. Yes. So his fitness levels, he must be at top of his fitness levels and not wait for the camp because there's none. So he has to do his work. So that's where individual responsibility now comes in. And you say, let's get 2, let's get 3. Can I get 2 other players with me? Can I do something different? A few years ago, I remember Australia was going to India. That's the time of Shane Warne. And I remember they were going to play in Madras. And that particular surface in Madras is considered to be a spinner-friendly surface. And I remember one individual talking to at the time was, the conversation was about how Tendulkar prepared for Shane Warne coming to India. This guy was on top of his game already, and he left his home in Bombay, flew all the way to Madras 3 weeks in advance of that particular test match on his own. He didn't wait for the board. He went to get practice on similar surfaces there. I understand he paid young leg spinners, the best of them in Madras, to bowl to him on the surface that is similar to what he would be on a test match, so that he can practice his craft and see how he can handle the Shane Warne when he gets there. The end product of that was 100+ runs in the test match. Now, I am not saying that, it's something, but I'm only saying to you, if the will is there to do something, you will find a way. And we have to start drumming it into our young people.
Yes.
Find a way. Don't make excuses. Find a way. That's all I'm saying. Find a way. They could. A lot of them now are handling a lot of finances. They can afford to pay to get things done. Simple as that. If it is mentally they need some work, they can afford to pay a psychologist to sit with and chat. They can afford to. If it's not provided for them, they can do that. So I think there are things we can do unless we, really and truly do it. It makes it very, very challenging, as you see. But that's what sports is all about. It's challenging, and we have to overcome. We have to adapt, and we have to overcome. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Gus. I think back to you for the next.
Okay. So we go to the 5th. Defeat highlights areas for growth and advancement. So I guess we have been ahead of our time. So it says, defeat highlights areas for growth and advancement. A signal to improve existing deficiencies. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse me from secret faults. As unpleasant an experience as defeat can be, It offers the positive opportunity of highlighting areas of failings within your capabilities that needs attention. Success requires excellence. Excellence is never stagnant. Today's excellence will be tomorrow's mediocrity. A sole dependence on past achievement or even current successes will certainly create a door through which failure will eventually burst in. True champions are ever conscious of being competitive. Remaining on the cutting edge of success requires constant development and growth at all levels of performance. Whilst failure should never be a goal, it should always be viewed as an accepted occurrence from which valuable information can be gained to make necessary improvement that might not ordinarily be noticed. So let's be ready to make changes for advancement. Every failure has a cause. Finding that cause is a gateway to great success. Failure is a great fact-finding exercise. Failure conceals an abundance of hidden benefits. Overcoming failure is an opportunity to maximize the potential for unlimited success. So let's make it personal. I will learn something positive from every negative experience. I will not fail to learn.
Thank you there, Gus. And Principle 5, defeat highlights areas for growth and advancement. Mertris has the first question in this topic.
Sure.
Okay, once again, good evening, Mr. Logie.
Mhm.
Can you explain for us how today's excellence will be tomorrow's mediocrity?
Yes, because let's put it this way, every single day you have advancement in life. The world is evolving in some way. So today you might be great at something, but if you stay in that area and not learn and not evolve, by tomorrow, somebody will have passed you, would have gone past you. We have seen in athletics just recently, you're the world champion this month, or this week, or this last year. And the next world championships, the same, you would have run the same 44 point something. But you know what? Somebody's running 43. You understand what I'm saying? So what was excellent now, by tomorrow, it becomes mediocrity. By tomorrow, somebody else have gone past that. You understand what I'm saying? You always have to be evolving. You always have to be looking for X. You have to be growing. You don't stay stagnant. Don't rest on your laurels. You ever heard that saying? Don't rest on your laurels. You know, keep going, keep moving, keep improving. I think that's what this is saying here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
And Donna has another question on that topic for you.
sure.
Yes, Mr. Logie, good night once again.
Good night.
Remaining on the cutting edge of success requires constant development and growth.
Yes.
However, the contrary says that if you are on the cutting edge, are you not developed and grown to remain successful?
Well, you're going to get the success that cutting edge technology, if you want to call it, is there for you. But then somebody else develops something a little bit more, advanced, if you want to call it that. Years and years ago, look at the computer today. Years and years ago, you didn't have the computers to get the information at the touch of a finger. But then it has advanced. You have more sophisticated systems now on the market, right? So you want to make sure at the end of the day, you are always on the cutting edge. You're always advancing with the latest. All these fancy phones. I still have one of those, maybe old phones from years ago. I have my sons now, whenever I see them and they have these different phones, I'm a little bit envious because it can do so much more than what mine can do. But I seem to be comfortable with it at my stage and my age, But that's what the sort of thing is, that you have to be going with the times. That's all I'm saying. As a sports person, in business, you have to keep advancing. You have to keep going. Don't stay still.
Okay,
Good.
thank you.
Right. Professor, you've got a question?
Yes,
Trevor?
you mentioned, changing with the times. And I say this in regards to data, the fact that even the times when West Indies was reigning for the 10 years, the type of access to data that we have now, they never had. So you have to say that most of their performance was on athleticism and in that sense, and the fact that the focus might have been keener with those athletes. Now the question is, do you see West Indies changing with the time that you just mentioned in regards to the preparation, notwithstanding the limited resources that we have? Do you see them changing in relation to your comment?
Well, I think it's the change is inevitable. It's not everybody really and truly embrace change. Yeah? Let's put it this way. The change is there. I think what you see now in team environment is that the management team, you have the coaching team, you have the analyst team, you have all the different things available to the players now than before.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not the players now are embracing those changes into their game, into their mindset, that's a different story.
Yes.
From my own experiences as a coach and having been involved with teams in the past, it is very difficult for some players to really accept changes, even within their simple thing, their eating habits, very, very difficult. You will have nutritionists come on board and you will talk about certain things that is good for you to eat. If you eat it before a certain time, it helps in terms of your metabolism and all these different things.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes custom, tradition, especially in the Caribbean context, is more stronger than sometimes the science and the technology that is being brought forward.
Yeah.
And I think that's a challenge. I remember some time ago, we had a trainer who came on board and he was trying to get our players to do ice baths in the early days.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of my players said, "You want to give me pneumonia." You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
But the science behind it is that you can recover quicker after a hard day's work, and the muscles will be more relaxed, X, Y, and Z. So until we can really and truly embrace some of the changes that are taking place in the sporting environment, and really and truly work it in with the skill sets that we have and all the talent that we say we have, we will certainly be behind what other countries are doing and what other countries have accepted. And I think, there are many, many other examples out there where other teams are using the data, they're using the technology, they are using the science, and players will tell you that they are much better off for it because they have more knowledge. You understand? They have more understanding of themselves, they have more understanding of their game. They are able to prepare themselves better, So again, it comes back to the mindset of possibly the Caribbean players, the West Indian players, I may say, who has to embrace the changes that are taking place in and around the sport in order to be even more effective that day.
Thank you. Brother Dale, any question for
Yes,
Brother Dale, any question for Gus?
Oh,
Yes, good evening, and thank you very much. And I understand exactly what Mr. Logie is saying, but since he mentioned athletics specifically, I'm going to interpret that in track and field. And in relation to a question that the professor asked, if you look at track and field and you go, for example, to Jamaica, with the amount of world-class athletes that we produce, if you ever go to the facilities where they train, you simply would not believe it. They train on dirt tracks, many of them with pebbles around the track. They don't have the equipment necessary. And where you have it, it's very, very sparse, to the point that this year, last week, a young man came up from Jamaica and he went to Boston University. He's the first Jamaican to gain a track and field scholarship to Boston University. And when they saw the facility there, they were blown out of the water. Yet, with all the facilities here, by and large, especially in certain disciplines, we still beat them. I'm
Yeah.
sure you have heard of Stephen Francis and MVP and Elaine Thompson and Shelley and Fraser Price, all of these great athletes.
Yep.
You do not want to see where they train. They
Mhm.
train, it's literally just a piece of land out there with grass on it and they run. It's nothing fancy. So you mentioned the will.
Mhm.
It's not, we complain about facilities, but I see us coming out with under 15, under 17, under 19, and other age group teams and A team. Where are we getting all of these players from if there isn't some kind of structure in place to
Exactly.
churn them out? So I'll just leave with that.
Yep.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Endorsed in exactly. Yep.
Leon,
We
you had
have all those experiences.
May I?
Yep.
1 second. Leon had a question first.
A question, but I'll bypass it since time is well spent.
All right. Yeah, we're running out of time. Ivor's asked for a
Okay,
question.
great.
One
Okay.
question.
Yes.
Gus, Gus,
Yeah,
Ivor,
I like to wait until the end. Yeah, I like to wait until the end because Gus is right on point 89, 90, 100% of the times. But he made reference to these players who can afford to help themselves. And the blame game have got to stop. I wish this can go to the powers that be. To get into these players' head, to take pride in their games. You're making much more than these guys, the Logies and stuff. Better equipment, better bats, better everything. And to get your mind right and you can afford it, go and do it. But I'm going to ask him a personal question. Because here we had Gus, what, 12 years of international cricket, West Indies cricket, I should say. And you had this young Brian Lara, I think to date, still the youngest captain for Trinidad at 20. Came into the team while you were there in 1990, I think, and you got over 94. But the question I have, with Lara getting all these accolades, even though he failed, he made 44, I think, in his first innings. But he had all this big fame in Trinidad. And at 20, they thrust him into the captaincy. But here it is in 1992, you became the vice captain of the West Indies team. And 92 or 93, but and then shortly after that, you would have left. Was there any kind of pressure put on you with Lara getting all these accolades and captain of your team, the Trinidad team? You are the vice captain. Was there any animosity or anything in the team or any conflict? Because me out here looking at it, I was like, Logie is not getting the praises he should get. And then they get to vice captaincy. Was it compensation for your years? Because after that, you left after a year after.
Okay.
No.
Could you help us with that?
No. I grew up in a time where I think, as I said to someone, one asked me some time ago if I would change my era and play in this era. No. I think we played in an era then we were more successful. I keep saying I played in a West Indies team for 12 years, and I don't know what it is to play in a losing test series. I've never been involved in a losing test series. You understand? And I left the game, I left the game better for having been there, and I enjoyed my time. I wouldn't change it for the world. I encourage all the young players. In fact, I was the first when young Lara came on board, I remember for Trinidad, if you can remember, the first Green Acres bat he ever got was from me, So there certainly wasn't any animosity there up to this day. Yes, at the end of the day, we've always supported the young man. We always wish him well. We always knew he had greatness in him, and he has proven that time and time again. At the end of the day, yes, with not everything that an individual does on and off the field that you feel comfortable with, but at the end of the day, as a cricketer, he's par excellence and he's second to none. So there's no two ways about it. So yeah, whatever is his is his. I have lived my life. I'm contented with my life. I enjoy it very much, and I'm happy. I have no regrets, man. None.
Thank you. Gus, thank
you.
So
the question is, the last question.
Please.
With the vice captaincy. After the 1 year, you were elevated, and then just 1 year, and then you left. Was it just compensation? I thought you could have gone on some more.
No. You have to understand the technique, the whole thing involved. I remember I was vice captain of the West Indies team in Australia, And we had a selection issue in the first test match whereby the selection of the team, the test team for that first test match, the captain of the team wanted a particular player in the selection room. The coach of the team wanted a particular player. And as vice captain, I had to make a choice. I had to make a choice either to support the coach or support the captain. And I made the choice to support the captain in the team in the player that he wanted at the expense of myself. But it was for team decision. I made it in the best interest of the team. And I think at the end of it, the history will say that, we won that series. I felt comfortable. I at the end of the day, I didn't play, but I was quite comfortable with the decision. I thought it was the right decision at the time, and it worked out in the end that we won that series, and I was able to retire in peace.
Thank you, Gus.
Okay, we got it now. Now we know the rest of the story.
Thank you, Ivor. We are unfortunately at the end of this week's session, Gus, and I know we're only up to chapter 8. So I will invite you, if you have the time, to come back and join us next week, because we really do want to go through this motivational series right from the beginning on to the end. So if you will promise, we will have you back next Sunday.
We'll do. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Same time.
Can't leave the professor alone this time. Okay, gentlemen and ladies.
Thank you so much for your time and efforts and your insights, and we
no problem. You're
your
welcome.
knowledge and experience.
See
We
ya.
look forward to having you back with us next Sunday for the next episode in our motivational series.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The book
Bye-bye.
from which Gus's lecture is coming. It's called Building Champions, West Indies Cricket Edition, and it's available on Amazon. And we invite you to, purchase a copy and get yourself acclimated with the inspirational and the motivational ideas that Gus has been sharing with us. Thank you so much, Gus. Now we're in the 7 o'clock hour, and this is the birthday and anniversary hour. And this hour is dedicated to the memories of Walter Henry and Audley Watson. And I will try to give you just a few birthdays and anniversary, and then invite you to share your birthdays and anniversary with us. So on September the 8th, as we look back from the last Monday to this Sunday, and of course we will remember September the 8th last week was, and still perhaps being celebrated, the birthday of Leon Francis, our founder and president. And September the 8th also, at this time 1990, Josh Butler, the England captain. September the 8th, 1999, one young upstart, dare I use that terminology, a brilliant player, Shubman Gill from India. It's also noted that Shubman Gill was captain of the under-19 team 7 years ago and gained his test cap at the age of 19. Anniversary on the 9th of September 1959, the great Sir Garfield Sobers was injured. Collis Smith died in that UK car crash. And birthday on September the 10th, 1974, on Muhammad Akram, Pakistan cricket player. Birthday on the 12th of September, 1937, the great Wesley Hall of Barbados and West Indies, long remembered for what must have been the longest run-up in the history of cricket. Birthday on the 13th of September, 1969, Shane Warne of Australia, that great leg break bowler many of us remember. Birthday on the 13th of September 1975, Ryan Hurley of Barbados and the West Indies. Birthday again on the 13th of September 1982, Donovan Pagan, or Pagan, I'm not correct about the pronouncement of the surname, but Pagon, Donovan from Jamaica and the West Indies. And on the 14th of September 1990, Surya Kumar Yadav of India. He's a renowned batter. And of course, those who saw the Asian tournament match today would have noted that Yadav was the captain of the Indian T20 match this morning. And birthday on the 14th of September 1958, Jeff Crow from New Zealand, and he is as a brother, Martin Crow, who many of us will remember. And last but not least for us today, the 14th of September, it's the birthday of our Vice President, Jatin Patel's wife. We want to take this opportunity to wish her a very happy birthday today, and hopefully enjoy the rest of the week as well. And that's it from me. Let's go around the board and start with Donna. Any birthday anniversary you wish to share with us today?
Yes, I would have mentioned my brother last week, the 9th, Virgil in Florida, and also Imani on the 10th. I would also, for this week though, like to say happy birthday to my dad, who turns 97 tomorrow. He's not in the best of health, but he's hanging in there. So I want to say advance greetings to him. I would also like to say advance greetings to my country St. Kitts and Nevis, who will be having National Heroes Day on the 16th and the 42nd anniversary of independence on the 19th of September. So those are my celebrations for this. Oh, and I forgot, Sierra is going to be celebrating on the 20th as well. So those are my celebrations for this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Leon, any other birthdays other than your own?
Yes, I think though that Jaden Seals, he was born on the 9th of September as well. The best fast bowler in the Caribbean at present, and hoping to
Yes,
go
and
to
what a
India.
birthday he had this week.
Yes, he had a wonderful birthday indeed. So, and I shan't forget my late brother. Were he alive, he would be celebrating on the 19th, the same as St. Kitts Independence. 19th of September, he would be celebrating another birthday. Other than that, everything is okay for me. Thanks for all the kind wishes that were expressed on my behalf and parties that were thrown, and even I got a kiss from a stranger, a pretty lady, Dennis. That is what I got for my birthday. Thank you all.
Oh, all right, Leon making us wish we all had birthdays at the same time. Professor Sosabon, any birthdays, anniversaries you wish to share with us?
Not this early in the month. Later in the month, I will have some that if I do them now, I'll have to repeat them later on. But I do have family members that have birthdays at the very end of September.
Okay.
Over the month.
We'll get there. All right, going through the list. Virgil, welcome to the show. Any birthdays, anniversary you wish to share with us?
Yes, as I always say, Audley always remind me of my birthdays. So I would like to say a happy belated birthday to Coral Stephen. That's my friend Earl Stephen's wife, who celebrated her birthday, I think, last week. And also on the 3rd of September, that was my son's birthday, same one that wrote that book. And I just want to wish him a happy belated birthday, because I know last week I was not on. I think I was doing something with him. So I just want to wish him happy belated birthday and many more to come. And just wish him all the best on his belated birthday.
Thank you, Virgil.
And also wait, Donna just mentioned my name. She got to said which one, because she called a name in Florida, and anybody that's here would think it's me. So I'm not your brother, Donna. So you gotta say you gotta call the last name also too.
Okay.
Thank you, Virgil.
Thank you. And well, I can say happy belated birthday to the same Virgil, because I remember playing cricket with him and Ivor probably a couple of times. So I know him and I remember him really. But just want to say happy belated birthday to him also.
All right. Thank you, Virgil. Brother Dale, any birthdays, anniversary you wish to share with us?
Yes, thanks. My friend, Miss Sonia, celebrated her 80th birthday on Wednesday last. So happy birthday to her.
All right. Thank you, Brother Dale. And let's ask Hyacinth, any birthdays, anniversary?
I just like today would have been 3 years since my brother, my favorite brother, passed. So there was a nice service for him with many friends and family from abroad. So it was quite good. But no birthdays.
Okay, Mr. Chambers, anyone you want birthdays you wish to share with us?
No birthdays, sir. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
But today I am celebrating my mother's death. She died
Anniversary.
last year this time, so
Oh, yes.
I'm eating some salmon and some rice and peas in honor of her.
Oh, favorite dish. All right.
Salmon.
Thank you.
Salmon.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers. Oh, I don't know. Ivor, any birthdays, anniversary?
Yes, by all means. Don't say that the MBE is not in good health, but he's alive. So that's the most important thing. Happy birthday to him tomorrow. I'm sure we'll serenade him, and I'm sure to do that on Caribbean Global Voices tomorrow. Of course, Sierra comes up on the 20th. That's my daughter. I have another daughter on the 19th, Whitney. Sierra, you forgot Whitney on the 19th. Whitney's on the 18th, I beg your pardon. So those are my birthdays. I'll be down next week for those birthdays. This week, I'm saying next week, this week, today's Sunday.
All right.
So those are my birthdays. And Virgil, stop making excuse about your son. You heard I was in Ray Farm last week, batting, and you ducked out, free to come and bowl. Nothing to do with your son. Sorry.
All right, we take that one up later. Thank you. All right.
Can I just say one, my condolence, Mr. Francis, you probably know a person to condolence to give me 1 second. Let me remember his name. Hey, what's his name again?
Charlie Barnes.
Oh, Charlie Barnes. That's Desiree Barnes' uncle.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
who
my
was
goodness.
murdered in Antigua, I think, yesterday.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
I was
Yes,
just
yes.
telling Ben, I didn't know that. I just
Yes.
tell Dennis about the murder.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So my condolence to that
Popular
family.
guy.
All right. Thank you very much. For those, so at this time, I want to take this opportunity to wish happy birthdays. Oh, if Coach Patel is within earshot and wish to, join us for a second to wish happy birthday to his beloved, he may do so just before we wrap up here. Otherwise, let me take this opportunity to wish happy birthdays and anniversaries, the happy ones and the bad ones, to all those who have and those who are celebrating those birthdays and anniversary at this time. Coach, going once, going twice. All right, you may not be able to join us, but know that we do wish your wife very happy returns. Now, it's time for us to share the focus report. Today's focus report comes to us. Thank you, courtesy of Mertris. And the focus report is one in a series, and it's a summary of the report of the Independent Commission for Equity in Cricket. Mertris? Are you with us, Mertris? Mertris is not hearing us. Going once, twice. Mertris? Okay, Mertris is just not there. Let me ask Hyacinth if she has those report that she can give to us. Hyacinth? Oh, am I? If anyone out there hearing me, wave so that I know I'm not speaking to myself. We're all here. No Mertris.
Sorry, 1 minute. I'm just trying to find my email for the focus.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't print you out because I didn't expect it. Oh, so sorry, so sorry.
Mertris, are you there? No, carry on if you, do you have it, Hyacinth?
No,
No.
just question. No.
Okay.
1 minute, 1 minute. No.
We'll take that next week then. We'll just move forward.
Yeah.
We'll take this
Okay,
next
yeah.
week. I'm not sure what has happened to Murtry's. Maybe.
Oh, yeah, I think I found it now. Today's the 14th, isn't it? Yeah. Okay,
Yes, it
I
is.
just found it. Okay, so this is a summary written by Dennis Heath, the listeners of the Cricket Show USA. Right, and it's chapter 8I, publication, decisions, the Cricket Principal Commission. Oh.
I'm so sorry, the mute weren't working.
Okay, Murtry's is back. So
I'm here.
go ahead, Murtry's.
Okay, this presentation of focus for Sunday night, 14th, 2025. This summary is written by Dennis Heath for the benefit of listeners of the Cricket Show USA, Chapter 81, Publication Decisions. The Cricket Disciplinary Commission, CDC, may withhold important decisions regarding all aspects of its work by discretion. The CDC has the right to censor and block information for any reason. The decision to publish or withhold information from the public should be influenced by transparency, fairness, and principles. Therefore, results and decisions involving disciplinary actions should be published in full. However, for health and safety reasons, we accept that some information may be reached. Moreover, all communications from the CDC should be published directly from the CDC's own website and not be filtered from a secondary site, such as the ECB's website. The lack of resources available to the CDC may have resulted in cases being delayed, and additionally, due to the effects on careers and reputations. Funds should be available to enable complaints and cases to be handled professionally on a more reasonable timetable. And this should be of benefit to the game. The CDC panel should have members with EDI expertise, and diversity should be considered in the appointment of panel members. Therefore, the composition of the panel should be revised and maximum terms limit should apply. So these are some recommendations. Recommendations 32. We recommended the following changes with respect to the Cricket Disciplinary Commission, CDC, or any future adjudication body if it is replaced and or renamed. A, the CDC's jurisdiction should cover everyone working in the professional game, including chairs, chief executives, and all other off-field staff. B, the sanctions available to the CDC should be strengthened, including the power to suspend or cancel the right to host high-profile matches. And you can see recommendation number 19. C, CDC panels in discrimination cases must have specialist EDI expertise or access to specialist EDI support, and there should be appreciate levels of diversity amongst those who can sit on such panels. D, the CDC must be properly resourced by the ECB in terms of personnel and finance. In particular, panel members should be paid and dedicated administrative resources should be provided. E, the CEC should have its own website on which it should publish full written reasons for every decisions, such save and exceptional circumstances which should be clearly defined. F, there should be greater communications between the CDC and the ECB about cases that the farmer has handled and the lessons learned. G, chairs of the CDC should be appointed by the ECB using expert external recruitment assistant to run an open and transparent resettlement process with lay involvement to provide independent security and quality assurance. H, the chair of the CDC should appoint remaining panel members using the same process. Panel members must have an appropriate balance of skills, expertise, and importantly, diversity. And last but not least, I, the chair and panel members should be appointed for a 4-year term and serve a maximum of 2 years. And that's the end of the focus for today, September 14, 2025.
All right, thank you, Myrtrice, and apologies.
Sorry about that before, the mute button wasn't moving. Didn't want
we understand technology. The full report is available on the internet, and it was previously published by the England and Wales Cricket Board, so it can be searched on the internet under England and Wales Cricket Board. The commission, the Independent Commission for Equity in Cricket report. All right, now thank you very much there, Myrtrice, and we'll have another report next week. Now let's take a look at some cricket scoreboard. Brother Dale, please.
Okay, thank you very much. And I will report on the Asia Cup 2025. That's the men's T20. And it's being played in Abu Dhabi. And the first match on September 9th was between Afghanistan and Hong Kong. Both of them are in Group B. Afghanistan won the toss and elected to bat first, scoring 188 for the loss of 6 wickets, with Sedikula Atal, 73 not out, and Azmatullah Omarzi, 53, were the top scorers for Afghanistan, and Kinchit Shah, 2 for 24, and Ayush Shukla, 2 for 54, were the successful bowlers for Hong Kong. In reply, Hong Kong were restricted to 94 for the loss of 9 wickets. Their leading batsman was Babar Hayat, who scored 39, Gulbadin Nayab, 2 for 8, and Fazal Haq Faruqi, 2 for 16, were the most successful bowlers for Afghanistan, as they won by 94 runs, and the player of the match was Azmatullah Omarzi for his 53 and 1 wicket for 4 runs. The second game was played on September 10th. It was a Group A game between the UAE and India. India elected to field and bowled out UAE for 57 runs in 13.1 overs. Alishun Sharafu managed to score 22 as Kuldeep Yadav 4 wickets for 7 runs and Shivram Dubey 3 for 4 were the most successful bowlers for India. India in reply made 60 for the loss of 1 wicket off 4.3 overs, with Abhishek Sharma scoring 30 and Shubman Gill 20 not out, leading India to a 9-wicket victory with 93 balls remaining. The player of the match was left-arm wrist spinner Kuldeep Yadav. The third game was played on September 11, and that was a Group B match between Bangladesh and Hong Kong. Bangladesh won the toss and elected to field. Hong Kong scored 143 for the loss of 7 wickets, with Nizakat Khan 42 and Zishan Ali 30, the main contributors to that score, as Tazim Hassan Sakib 2 for 21, Rashid Hussain 2 for 31, and Taskin Ahmed 2 for 38 were the leading bowlers. Bangladesh, in reply, scored 144 for the loss of 3 wickets. Their captain, Linton Das, top scored with 59, and he was supported by Towed Hidroy, 35. Hafiz Iqbal, 2 for 14, was the most successful bowler for Hong Kong, as Bangladesh won by 7 wickets with 14 balls remaining. The captain, Liton Das, was adjudged player of the match for his top score of 59. Then on September 12th, we move over back to Group A, where Oman faced Pakistan. Pakistan elected to bat first and scored 160 for the loss of 7 wickets, as Mohammad Harris, 66, Amir Kaleem, 3 for 31, and Shak Fazal, 3 for 34, limited Pakistan to the 160 for 7. However, Oman, in reply, could only manage 67 runs as they were bowled out, with Hamad Mirza top scoring with 27. Fahim Ashraf, 2 for 6, Sufyan Mukim, 2 for 7, and Saeem Ayub, 2 for 8, shared the wickets, the majority of the wickets between them. Pakistan won by 93 runs, with Mohammad Harris adjudged player of the match for his 66. On September 13, the 5th match, Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka, which was a Group B match. Sri Lanka won the toss, elected to field first. Bangladesh, 139 for the loss of 5 wickets. Top scoring were Jakar Ali, 41 not out, and Shamim Hossain, 42 not out, as both of them shared an unbroken 6-wicket stand of 86, which rescued Bangladesh from being 53 for the loss of 5 wickets to the total that they ended up with 139 for the loss of the same 5 wickets. Windu Hasarang took 2 for 25 to lead the Sri Lankan bowling. Sri Lanka, in response, scored 140 for the loss of 4 wickets. Pathum Nisanka, 50. Kamul Mishara, 46 not out, were their leading scorers, as Mehedi Hassan took 2 for 29. Sri Lanka won by 9 wickets with 32 balls remaining, and Kamil Mishara was the player of the match for his 46 not out. On September 14th, India, in the 6th match, played Pakistan. This was a Group A clash. Pakistan won the toss and elected to bat. They scored 127 for the loss of 9 wickets, with Shahibzada Farhan, 40, Shaheen Shah Afridi, 33 not out, led their batting, which was greatly restricted by the Indian bowling attack, with Kuldeep Yadav, 3 for 18, Akshar Patel, 2 for 18, and Jasprit Bumrah, 2 for 28. India, in reply, cruised to easy victory as they scored 131 for the loss of 3 wickets, with the captain Surya Kumar Yadav, 47 not out, Abhishek Sharma, 31, Tilak Varma, 31, led them to this victory. All 3 wickets were claimed by Saeem Ayub, the off-spin bowler from Pakistan. India won by 7 wickets with 25 balls remaining, and Kuldeep Yadav was adjudged player of the match. Just a quick with the standing, it's still early, but India, Pakistan, Oman, and the UAE are in Group A. India leads the group after 2 matches with 4 points, and Pakistan with 2 points from 2 matches. Oman and UAE are yet to register a point. And in Group B, Afghanistan and Bangladesh leads with 2 points each. However, Afghanistan only played 1 match. And Sri Lanka also with 2 points, and they played 1 match, where Bangladesh played 2 matches for their 2 points. The top 2 teams from each group advance to the super group, where they then move on to the finals from there. We will move on to the T20 International between England and South Africa. The first game was played in Cardiff, Wales on September 10th, and the game was reduced to 9 overs a side initially, as South Africa batted for only 7.5 overs and then had to defend their total and to 5 overs, a 5-over target. So England won the toss, elected to field first. South Africa scored from their 7.5 overs, 97 for the loss of 5 wickets, as Aiden Markham, 28, Donovan Ferreira, 25, led them to that total, as Luke Wood, 2 for 22, was the most successful English bowler. England, by the DLS method, were required to score 69 runs from 5 overs. They managed to get to 54 for the loss of 5 wickets, with Jos Buttler, 25, Marco Jensen taking 2 for 18, and Corbin Bosch, 2 for 20. South Africa therefore won by 14 runs via the DLS method, and Donovan Ferreira was adjudged player of the match for his undefeated 25. The second game was played on September 12th, and this game was played in Manchester. South Africa won the toss, chose to field. England compiled a mammoth 304 for the loss of 2 wickets, with Phil Salt scoring a record-breaking 141 not out, Jos Buttler 83, Harry Brook 41 not out, and the opening partnership of 126 from just 7.5 overs was realized between Salt and Buttler. The second wicket partnership of 95 then followed between Salt and Jacob Bethel from just 6.2 overs. And then finally, the unbroken third wicket stand of 83 runs between Salt and his captain, Harry Brook. Jean Fortin took both wickets for 52 runs. South Africa replied with 158 all out. Aiden Markham, 41. Jean Fortin, 32. With Jofra Archer leading a very balanced England attack, taking 3 wickets for 25 runs. Will Jacks, 2 wickets for 2 runs. Sam Curran, 2 for 11. And Liam Dawson, 2 for 34. England won by 146 runs, as Phil Salt was adjudged player of the match for his 141. The series was now tied, and they moved to Nottingham on September 14th for the deciding match in the series. Unfortunately, the match was abandoned without a ball being bowled, so the series ended 1-1. Phil Salt was named player of the series for his 141 in the second game. And just for information, South Africa are now set to tour Pakistan for 2 test matches, 3 one-day internationals, and 3 T20 internationals. Thank you. That's my report.
Thank you very much, Brother Dale. And now Donna has some more results for us and matches.
Yes, good night again, everyone. I'm going to report on this CPL that's winding down. And I start with Sunday. We would have missed one of the games. One would have been completed. So I'm going to report on the night game that we had between the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots and the Warriors. And what I found this week is that the teams at the bottom, they were trying to see how far up the scale they can get, if they can beat those teams, and those at the top trying to get up a little higher to see who can take 1 and 2. So here we go. So the Patriots were taking on the Warriors in Providence, Guyana, where the Warriors won the toss. They decided to field. The Patriots, when they batted, they got to 149 for 6 in their 20 overs with Rizwan, a starring performance of 85 from 62, and with the best bowler being Hassan Khan, 2 for 21 from his 4 overs. When the Warriors responded, they got to 144 for 8 in their 20 overs, with Shai Hope, 31 from 27, and the best bowler was Wakai Salamkeel, 2 for 28 in his 4 overs. The Patriots therefore won by a slim margin of 5 runs. The player of that match was Mohamed Rizwan for his 85 from 62. On Wednesday the 10th, we had Warriors taking on the Falcons in Guyana. The Falcons won the toss. They decided to field. And the Falcons bowled out the Warriors for 99 in 18.1 overs, with Shai Hope being the top scorer, 26 from 14, and Jaden Seals capturing 4 for 15 from his 3.1 overs. And this was a splendid day for him because that day was his birthday. So he gave himself a real birthday gift. Falcons, they responded with 103 for 6 in 19.1 overs with Amir Jangu, 51 from 57. The best bowler for Warriors was Moeen Ali, 2 for 10 in 4 overs. The Falcons therefore won by 4 wickets with 5 balls remaining. The player of the match was Jaden Seals for his 4 for 15. On Thursday, we saw Patriots coming up against Royals at Kensington Oval in Barbados, and what a match this was. The Royals decided to field, having won the toss. The Patriots got in, they got to 150 for 7 in their 20 overs, with Jason Holder getting to 53 from 30. The best bowler was Ethan Bosch, 3 for 26 from 3 overs. When the Royals batted, they got to 149 for 7 in their 20 overs. Rassi van der Dussen, he got 37 from 27. And Navin Bidesi, he was the peak of the bowlers, 2 for 24 in his 4 overs. Patriots therefore won by 1 run, with the player of the match being Jason Holder for his 53 from 30 and his 2 from 32. On Friday, the Royals came up against the Knight Riders, being their last game at home. The venue was at Kensington Oval, where the Royals, they won the toss, they decided to field. Trinidad and Tobago got to 166 for 8 in their 20 overs, with Nicholas Pooran being the top scorer, 45 from 44, and Chris Green, best bowler, 3 for 9 from his 4 overs. When the Royals responded, they responded with 172 for 3 in 19 overs, with Quinton de Kock, 55 from 35, and Usman Tariq, 2 for 23 from 4 overs. The Royals therefore won by 7 wickets with 6 balls remaining. The player of the match was Chris Green for his 3 for 9 in his 4 overs. On Saturday, yesterday, the Amazon came up against Kings at Providence, Guyana. The toss was won by Kings. They decided to bat first. And in this game, the Kings, they batted, they got to 185 for 4 from their 20 overs, with Ruston Chase getting 90 from 55, Dwayne Pretorius 2 for 36 from 2 overs. When the Warriors batted, they got to 188 for 8 in 20 overs, where Quentin Sampson, he started by getting 76 from 39, having been promoted to open the innings. Ruston Chase, he got 3 for 30 in his 3 overs. And the Warriors won by 2 wickets with no balls remaining. So they captured the crown on the last ball by getting a 6. The player of the match was Quentin Sampson for his 76 from 39. As we speak, the next match is the last match of the round robin is being played as we speak between the Amazon and Royals. It's in Providence, Guyana. Royals won the toss. They said they're going to be bowling first. And I can see that the Warriors, they are at 88 for 2 at the moment. So we'll listen to see what becomes of that game. Now, at the moment, we have the Kings in first position, the Knight Riders in second, the Falcons, and the Warriors. If the Warriors win tonight, it might propel them to number 2. So we'll wait to see what is going to happen when the playoffs start on Tuesday. I will now move on to the WCPL, which is the Women's CPL. And I would have reported on the Sunday match already, so I'm going to go straight into Wednesday when the Royals women came up against the Knight Riders women. And all of the games are being played in Guyana. The toss was won by the Royals women. They decided to bat first. The Royals put on a score of 137 for 6 in their 20 overs with Kiana Joseph starring with 63 from 52. Deandra Dottin got the best figures of 2 for 22 from 4 overs. When the Knight Riders batted, they were skittled out for 78 in 15.3 overs with Lisa Lee getting 39 from 44 and Kamari Asapatu, best bowler, 4 for 7 from 3 overs. The Royals won by 59 runs. Earlier today, Saturday, we had the Warriors coming up against the Riders women in Providence, Guyana. TKR won the toss. They decided to bat first. They got to 123 for 7 in their 20 overs with Jess Jonathan scoring a half century, 51 from 45. Molly Penfold was the best bowler, 4 for 17 from 4 overs. When the Warriors batted, they got to 125 for 5 in 18.5 overs with Stefani Taylor, 39 from 44, and Shika Pandey, 2 for 23 in 3.5 overs. Warriors won by 5 wickets with 7 balls remaining, with the player of the match being Stefani Taylor, 39 from 44 and 1 from 24. Earlier today, we had the Warriors taking on the Royals women. The Warriors won the toss. They decided to bowl first. The Royals got to 132 for 6 in their 20 overs with Chanel Henry, the captain, getting 46 from 34. The best bowler, Laura Harris, 3 for 28 from 4 overs. When the Warriors responded, they got to 129 for 8 in 20 overs with Amy Hunter, 63 from 50, and Kamari Atapatu, 3 for 25 from 4 overs. The Royals won by 3 runs. And let me tell you, I believe Guyana, through this game, already had the game under control until they lost Amy Hunter, and then everything went haywire. The player of the match was Kamari Atapatu for her 37 from 42 and her 3 for 25. The standings at the moment, we see the Royals at the top, the Warriors second, Knight Riders last. The Knight Riders, they haven't won anything as yet. On Tuesday, we're going to continue with the Royals and the Riders, and then the finals come up on Wednesday. My final report is for this Cricket West Indies Under-19 series between Sri Lanka and the West Indies. We had 2 games this week. On Tuesday the 9th, at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in North Sound, where the toss was won by West Indies, they decided to field first. Sri Lanka, under-19, they got to 172, bowled out in 48 overs with Dimantha Mahavithana, 38 from 59, and with Adian Racha, the best bowler, 3 for 37 in 9 overs. When the West Indies under-19 replied, they got to 173 for 8 in 47.18 overs with Arsenio Fontaine, 48 from 84. And Vignesh Waran Akash, 4 for 30 in his 10 overs. West Indies under 19, they won by 2 wickets. And at this point, they were leading the series 3-2. On Friday the 12th, we also saw the 6th Youth ODI between West Indies and Sri Lanka at North Sound. The toss was won by West Indies. They decided to field first. Sri Lanka got 287 for 6 from their 50 overs with Viran Chamaduta, 88 from 85, and Joshua Dawn, the best bowler, 2 for 36 from 10 overs. When the West Indies responded, they responded with 289 for 7 in 48.4 overs with Joshua Dawn, 95 from 89, and Vignesh Waran Akash, the best bowler, 3 for 41 in his 10 overs. The West Indies under 19 therefore won by 3 wickets and are now leading the series 4-2. The final game is going to be played on Monday between these two teams. I don't know how many of you saw this game, but there was a little controversy on the last ball that went for 6, which we can speak about in the discussion. That's the end of my report.
Okay, thank you very much, Donna.
You're welcome.
We have some results of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup Africa Region Division 1 qualifiers coming to us from Hyacinth.
Right. Okay. Right. Good evening. And now I'm sorting here the results of the ICC T20 Women's the African Region Division 1 qualifiers. We have the 5th playoff matches on the 6th of September. The first match was Kenya women against Nigerian women, and the Kenya women made 105 for 7, Nigeria women 98. The second match was Rwanda women versus Sierra Leone women. Rwanda made 162 for 5, Sierra Leone women 112 for 6. Then we had the third match, Rwanda women made 122 for 5, the Kenya women 116 for 6. Then there's the 7th playoff, 7th place playoff, and the 4th match, Nigerian women 159 for 4, Sierra Leone women 174 for 9. Then the other match, the third match, we had the 3rd place playoff and the 5th match between the Tanzanian women versus the Uganda women. Tanzania made 109 for 5. Uganda made 103 all out. Then there was the first semi-final, the 6th match, Uganda women against Zimbabwe women. Uganda made 119 for 7. Zimbabwe women made 120 for 5. Then there was a second semi-final, that's the 7th match, Tanzania women versus Namibia women. Tanzania women made 75 for 8, and Namibia women made 77 for 2. Then there was a final match between Namibia and Zimbabwe. Namibia made 115 for 7. Zimbabwe made 116 for 1. And that's the end of the regional divisions results.
All right, thank you, Hyacinth. I thought I heard Nigeria women 159 for 4, Sierra Leone 174.
Sorry, 74 for 9.
It was 74.
Not 74, not 174.
All right, thank you. Correction there. Thank you very much, Hyacinth. And Leon, some scores for us?
Yes, indeed. Let's start off with Australia Women Tour of India. And the tour began today. As a matter of fact, they played the first match today. And they will be playing 3 ODIs. One today, one on the 17th, and the other on the 20th. Just give you some scores. That match today saw India winning the toss and elected to bat. They scored 281 for 7 from the allotted 50 overs, and the Australian women were unsung. They scored 282 for 2 in 44.1 overs, with Australia women winning by eight wickets. Player of the match was Phoebe Litchfield, and she made a brilliant 88. Turning my attention to the Vitality Blast, all the teams played. The teams in England were grouped in North and South, with 14 matches being played, with all teams playing 14 matches. We won't go into the details, but at the end of it all, Somerset and Hampshire came into the finals, with Somerset winning the toss in the final match, and they opted to bowl. Hampshire made 194 for 6 from the allotted 20 overs, and Somerset replied with 195 for 4, meaning that Somerset won by some 6 wickets, and the player of the match was Will Sneed. Turning my attention to the county championship, and it's coming to an end with the county Division 1. Surrey were on top with 186 points. Nottingham in second place, 185. Somerset, they're in third place, 163. And following that, Warwickshire on 159, Essex 140, Sussex 138, Yorkshire 135, and Hampshire 132, Durham and 126, and at the cellar position were Worcestershire. In Division 2, we find Leicester, they're on top with 205 points, followed by Glamorgan and 180 points. Derbyshire, they are on 153 points. Middlesex, 150 points, followed by Gloucestershire, 146 points. Lancashire were 139 points, and Nottinghamshire 137 points. And at the end of it all, we see Kent, they are on 109 points. And just to tell you folks that Leicestershire will be promoted to Division 2 next season. And the others I want to talk about is the Vitality Blast. And of course, we tell you that Somerset were the winners of that blast. And to give you the scores, Hampshire, who were the opponents of Somerset, scored 194 for 6 from the allotted 20 overs, and Somerset 195 for 4 from 19 overs. Somerset won by some 6 wickets. The player of the match was Will Sneed. Somerset won the toss and opted to bowl. And that's my report tonight, folks.
Thank you, Leon. I thought I heard you say Leicester would be promoted to Division 2. You mean they were promoted to Division 1 from Division 2?
I'm demoted, I meant, right?
No,
Leicester promoted to Division after 22 years.
Thank you. All right, that's a correction. Yes, and one other final point I might want to add, the minor league series are begun, and they started playing in August the 28th and will continue through September the 27th. And the minor league, as we heard previously, would have been the precursor for the major league. At any rate, there are currently 26 teams, 26 minor league teams in the United States. That's an awful lot of, good cricketers playing. The 26 teams are divided into 4 regions. The eastern region of the United States has 6 teams. The west of the United States, 6 teams. The south, 6 teams, and the central area, 8 teams. The division leaders, as of yesterday, showed that the In the East, you had New Jersey Stallions at the top, followed by New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers in the second spot. In the West, the East Bay Blazers in the San Francisco area, they're the top with Seattle Thunderbolts second. And in the South, it's Baltimore Royals, followed by Atlanta Fire. And in the Central Zone, Chicago Kingsmen, followed by the Kings 11 of Dallas. They are the team that are currently the leading teams in the minor league tournament. So there's still a long ways to go till the end of September when the championship match will be played. So now that we have come to that, we are now in the 8 o'clock hour, which is the Lawrence Yagaro hour. Here on the Cricket Show, we have 1 hour dedicated to the genius of Lawrence Rowe, and it's Lawrence Rowe, a player whom we admire greatly. Now, before we go into our usual discussion tonight, I am going to invite Brother Dale to provide for us a short presentation of some information regarding the importance of public information given to the public by various sporting organizations. Brother Dale?
Yes, Sir Dennis, thank you very much. And as you say, this is it's for edifying to edify our audience primarily. And these are actions taken by various sporting organizations to protect the integrity of the game and also for public information. And I'll start off with the NBA, and this is their official report for the 2024-2025 season and the current season, I'm sorry. Now, the first point is that teams must report information concerning injuries, illnesses, and rest for all games pertaining to the players by 5 p.m. on the day before a game is played. And in the case, if it is a second game of a doubleheader, teams must report the information by 1 p.m. local time on the day of the game. Teams must also designate a participation status and identify a specific injury, illness, or potential instance of a healthy player resting. Reports are updated on a continual basis throughout the day. Of great significance is that no team is allowed to rest more than one star player from a game. A star player is defined as one who makes the all-star team or the all-NBA team. They are designated star players. And if star players are being rested, it is advised that they must rest most of the time for their own home games, not for when they have to travel to visit. A rested player, even though he's not playing, must sit on the bench during the games that they attend and must be visible to the fans. So they can't go incognito and people don't know that they are there. They must be seen and recognized, be able to be seen and recognized. There are pre-approved absences in back-to-back games based on a player's age, career workload, or serious injury history. This gives an example. Let's take a LeBron James, a Kevin Durant, and others who are at least 35 years old, appeared in over 1,000 career games, or played for more than 33,000 minutes in regular season games. So all of that is logged and taken into account. And the teams must notify the league in writing at least 1 week in advance, explaining which players' participation is planned to be limited in that week. And the league office has the authority to conduct investigations and order independent medical reviews if there are any questionable absences. The violation for player participation policy, the first offense, $100,000. The second offense, $250,000. And subsequent fines will escalate or would escalate to $1 million per offense after those initial two. So part of the main thing is to ensure that ticket buying fans get their money's worth. They don't go there not to see the star player, and they will have a choice to whether or not to purchase a ticket if they know the star player is not going to be playing. And the players can't miss more than 17 games in a season if they want to be eligible for awards, whether it's Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, whatever. You can't miss more than 17 games. So they calculate it out and say out of 82, you have to have at least played in 65 of those games. So I'll stop there for the NBA. Is there any question about the NBA? Because
just comment, and I said, Dale, Brother Dale, thanks for that. I think that is so appropriate, because imagine I come all the way from Antigua, go to the Yankee Stadium to see a match, and the star player not there, and nobody notify me, and I go in specially to see a great player. It's only proper and fair to the spectators and people who are paying their money that they should get to know all about the game before they do make the purchase. So I'm glad you brought that to attention. I hope they can introduce that in cricket.
All right. Yes. So before I go to the NFL, Mr. Heath, is there anyone else with a question in regards to the NBA or comment?
Well, I endorse the everything that you have said, because I've been one of the most outspoken I would say panelist when it comes to not having the best team on the cricket field. That is, I'm very annoyed that we can have a player with a broken hand, with one hand in a sling and batting one-handed, because the rules are not on par with an NBA rule that requires that the player must be if he must be not only physically fit, but if he's physically fit, then he's supposed to play. So conversely, if he's not physically fit and he has an accident before the game, yes, it's natural that they're going to require advance notice. But if the player faints during the game, then common sense is going to say replace the player, whether it be from a heat stroke or from crashing into a boundary because he's chasing a ball, or because because he gets knocked out by a concussion. And while I recognize that concussion rules are there, I still say from my position as a fan, and from the fact that there are players who actually are betting on the game, who requires that you have a full team on the court at all times, that they be confident that somewhere during the middle of the game, a player is not going to get hurt and they are watching the game, rest of the game at a disadvantage. So while I say the NBA puts forth the rules in advance, and so does, well, You have not gotten to the NFL as yet, so I'll stop at that because it's not just the NBA that wants to ensure that the fans get their money's worth, but other sports, which I think they might be referring to. So I will stop at that point.
All right, thank you, Brother Dale.
Yes, thank you, Professor Sosa-Bone. I'll move on to the NFL. And the NFL league requires creditable, accurate, and specific reports, which are have paramount importance to maintaining the integrity of the game. Injuries must be specific. For example, it has to specify it's your ankle. And it's not just your ankle, it's whether or not it's your left ankle or your right ankle. Is it your left wrist or your right wrist? It has to be specific. Your right shoulder, left shoulder. It's not just a shoulder injury. It has to be specific. And practice reports must list any player with a reportable injury. And there are 3 levels of player participation, which the teams are required to fill out. The first one, did the player participate? It must be indicated if the player participated in training for that day. Was his participation limited? It must emphasize whether or not it was limited participation. And then, was it a full participation? So they're going to see a name and it's going to tell them the level of participation, because it's almost like, you know, they keep track of everything. We speak about data, we speak about tracking. That's how they track players and make sure that everything is, as we said, maintaining the integrity of the game. Let's say you're playing on a Sunday, because most games are played on Sunday. The teams must report 3 times during the week. So if it's a Sunday game, they have to send a report on Wednesday, on Thursday, and on Friday to the league with that status report that I mentioned. And if it is a Thursday game, they must send the report Monday and Wednesday of that week. And the injury report reads out, you will see the name of the player, and it will tell you if they are questionable, if they are doubtful, or if they are out any at all. And then, of course, the rest of them are available. This information must be released by 4 p.m. at least 2 days before the games are played, with the exception for the Thursday game, which must be submitted no later than Wednesday afternoon. And if you fail to report an injury, it will result in a heavy fine, and depending on what it is, the league will suspend the players involved. And also, the team now will have to forfeit draft picks if they are found guilty of that. So I will stop there for the NFL.
Very strong. Brother Sosa-Bone?
Yes. Well, my comment, you know, having put that on the cricket show. Now, the cricket show, from my point of view, Leon, is the leading cricket voice, I say, in the United States, along with the Cricket Hall of Fame. I say that because based on what I've been posting on LinkedIn, I have quite a few members from ICC who have been watching and listening very carefully and watching the show. And okay, I can see that from my algorithm, okay? And not only that, but I see they're actually looking at my profile to find out who the devil am I posting these things up there, okay? So I say that from the point of view that we are conscious of how things work in America, what the fans expect. Leon said it, that if he buys a ticket, he expects to get his money's worth. And if anyone is going to make a suggestion to ICC, West Indies Cricket, to pick up the responsibility of introducing how things work in the United States so cricket can evolve as we are looking for it to evolve. We cannot come to the table when you go to Rome, you do as the Romans do. And the Romans say that you make changes. Professor Logie mentioned that earlier today, that that you have to evolve and change and change as the demographic change or as the situation changes. And I'm saying that it is people like Leon and Dennis and Mike and Dale who has to.
Don't forget the ladies, please.
Yeah, hello?
Don't forget the ladies.
Oh, yes. Okay, sorry. Yes, Hyacinth and all the people that are at the table.
Call their names, Mr.
I mean, Norma and Hyacinth.
There's
Okay.
Donna
Donna
and
and
Merchant.
and Virgil and Ivor. Okay. I'm saying is that you are the voices that the people are hearing on the radio every week. Okay. It's your comments that is leading our community. Your analysis and your comments that is leading the cricket conversation. All right. Therefore, if there's anyone who is going to pick up the baton, they're expecting you to lead the conversation. You cannot say that cricket did not take off in the United States because somebody never told them that the fans demands that you play cricket to the same standard to that the NBA all their players and that the NFL all their players. That when the fans come and they expect to see 10 active or 11 active, fully rested, qualified players on the field, you say to them that when one breaks his arm, he has to play with one arm. They're going to think you guys are crazy. Okay? So I'm just saying that penalties, is something that they have put on their platform. We had a discussion earlier about players faking injury and whether or not you can trust them to be truthful. And I say you police the game. A player who faces a $100,000 fine from ICC for trying to pull a stunt, think twice about it when you see that there are penalties for that. And they are not relative to cricket only, because that player going to take a look at basketball and cricket, and football, and realize that, listen, this is standard. Okay? It's not something that is, crazy. It is standard operation that we protect the integrity of the game. Okay? So you try something, Cricket Hall of Fame, cricket show is going to ensure that we hold them accountable and we hold ICC accountable to police the game and protect the integrity of the game.
Thank you. Brother Dale, back to you.
Okay, thank you. And just to mix it up, the FIFA World Soccer teams are, although they are not as strict, but teams are requested to submit their starting 11 and officials that will be on the bench at least 90 minutes before game time. Medical reports must be submitted if a player that is on the original list is unable to play due to injury or illness. So they are not taking anybody's word for anything. You have to prove it. Otherwise, injuries may be reported at the discretion of the individual clubs, and because they usually have writers assigned to the teams, whatever they hear in the back room, they usually report it. So they're very, very strict and make sure that, again, if Lionel Messi is coming to New Jersey to play against the Red Bulls, I need to know that he's going to play so that I can go and buy a ticket, because I'm not going there to see his other teammates. I'm going there to watch him play. And that is what they are protecting us where that is concerned. If a star batsman is coming into my area, I may not want to go watch the team, but if I know that he's playing, then I go and I watch. And you see in cricket now, you don't know who is going to play because you may hear that they're managing the players' workload. Whether or not they win the game is of no significance or the importance of the game. And that's what they do. Now, in the NCAA, that's college. In football, you have to let the public know and the league know whether or not each player that is on the roster is probable, questionable, doubtful, or out. And that's at the NCAA level. In NCAA basketball, you also have available, game time decision, or out. So they will let you know if Mr. Heath may or may not play. So you still have the choice. In the big conferences, for example, the Big 12, the ACC, the Big 10, and the SEC requires specific player availability reports. As we say in football, they must submit the daily report starting 3 days before each game, minimum, with a final update 90 minutes before kickoff. And they monitor this. The basketball, they must file the reports by the night before the game in question, and the final report must come in at least an hour and a half before game time. And just for an off the beaten path sport, table tennis, if they play team table tennis, if a player for any reason has to withdraw, they must submit a medical report for their withdrawal. They can't just say, I'm not playing today. They have to have a medical reason. Of course, if they choose to just, they will get the appropriate fines and punishment. And it is just, again, these rules are in place to maintain the integrity of the sport. And of course, that is why in cricket, if we are going to make it a success in the United States in particular, we have to do and maintain the standards that the Americans are used to in terms of the governance of the sport. And from a worldwide point of view, we also have to make sure that if someone is watching the sport, that they don't stay up all night to catch the game and the players that they really want to watch is not playing and you had no idea.
Thank you,
So,
Brother
Professor, back to you.
Yes, Professor Trevor.
Yes.
Yeah.
One moment, Leon, Professor.
Yes, and again, the players, while they have a responsibility, the coaches are also fined. Okay? The coaches also fined, and the team, the owners of the team are also fined. That is how serious they take protecting the integrity of the game. And I don't want to repeat myself, but we have been talking about the injury substitution on this program on more than one occasion. And just recently, India has moved to a full substitution within India when they're playing. That just broke out last week. That India is prepared to, as designated that internal cricket, there's full substitution for players at any time during the game. So since we are in the West Indies, Australia is going to pick up that pretty soon, that if India is doing it, we're going to do it too. UK is going to jump right on board, Pakistan, all of them. So since we have that knowledge, we might as well step forward in the West Indies and say if it's good enough for India, then it's good enough for us. Not that we wait and we get it stuffed down our throats. Okay? But if India, the #1 team in the world, is prepared to have substitution for their players, then it stands to reason that this decision was not made lightly.
Thank you. Leon?
Can I ask a question about that?
1 second, John Virgil.
Okay,
Leon.
give Virgil a chance.
Okay, Virgil, go ahead.
Right. So you are saying if they select a team, say a 15-man squad, and then the next day say, I am in the team, and the next day my name is not in the squad, who you think should be responsible? Me or somebody who is the coach responsible for that?
Dale?
It's a team that is in context of American sports. It's a team that is responsible for disseminating that information.
Because the reason why I say that, I mean, I'm gonna go way back again when Cornwall was in the 15 squad to go Australia, and next day the team name and he was not in there. Do you think they should have it, like you said, whoever they selected, they should get fined for doing something like that?
Well, do you want to answer, Dale?
No, go ahead.
No, I think based on what I've heard, it is that it is the responsibility of the team and the team management to advise, but that is so in American, NBA, NFL, FIFA, NCAA, as we've just heard. It does not appear to be something that is supported by maybe Cricket West Indies or other areas of the sport. But let me see if Professor has something he wanted to add to that.
Yeah. I hope they do that. Be honest and tell the truth.
Well, the thing is that we are dissatisfied with that part of that process. Okay, that is why the conversation is here, and so we are pointing out how other sports treat their fans. Because I have always said I represent the spectator. I've said it on more than one occasion. I like to represent the spectator. What I want when I approach the game, I want full transparency. Okay? Because as I've said on occasion, there are people in Vegas who are betting on the game. They are betting on the information that has been provided. Okay? And whether you like the fact that they're betting or not, that's not your business. That's their business. The fact is, they get a certain amount of data and they use the data to their satisfaction. And if you're going to change the data, then need to know what's the timeline for changing the data. If I'm going to buy a ticket, like I sometimes do, and a certain player is coming to town, whether it be basketball, and I want to see Kobe Bryant play in person because I'm tired of watching him on television, and he's coming into my town and the tickets go through the roof, it's sold out, even though my team is not the best team. Okay, but the tickets get sold out. I want to see him play in person, and when I get there, he's sitting on the belt. I am not a happy camper, like Leon said. I'm not a happy camper. So transparency is a part of what we are accustomed to here. Full transparency. And we are saying that we need full transparency as to how cricket wants to introduce the sport into America.
All right, thank you. But did you?
Go
ahead, Leon.
Yeah, nothing is wrong with that at all, but I'm sure that the Olympic Association, IOC, must have had something in place for that. And if cricket isn't having that, they should adopt the principles that let the spectators know everything about a team and a team that is playing and all the details there, and before a spectator will go in to buy. So I'm saying that the Olympic Association, I'm sure, is familiar with what's going on, and they obviously going to do this if they want to go into Olympic tournaments. Cricket is going to be going to the Olympics, and all these has to be implemented if they're not done so that everybody on board as an association worldwide.
If I may just comment on that, Dennis, Leon is right, because at the moment we do not know some of the details of what cricket, Olympic has asked cricket to amend. We do not know why they're threatening that if they don't do certain things, they will not go forward as they plan. Because that information is not available to us.
All right. Thank you. Brother Dale, you want to complete your
Oh, well, that was it. Didn't want to belabor that point.
Okay.
But if you give me 2 minutes just to mention something about the guaranteed payout to IPL to the players.
Yes.
Okay. So in the IPL, the world famous IPL that we all know about, each team in the IPL must submit to the BCCI a guaranteed contract, money placed in escrow at no cost whatsoever. It's placed in escrow to a particular bank with the agreement that if BCCI wants to access that money, they have the right to do so. And they do that in case any of the IPL franchises fail to fulfill or maintain contractual obligations to the players. So if your team tells you they don't have any money to pay you, you go to the BCCI and they will go into that account after, of course, due diligence, and they pay you the money. You don't have to go and fight with the Knight Riders or whomever. And to that end, we may or may not forget that 3 teams have been kicked out of the IPL for not paying their players, but the players did get paid because the BCCI made sure that they got every crore that was owed to them. And those teams are the Pune Warriors. They encashed what they term encashed the guarantee, the Deccan Chargers, and the Kochi Tuskers Kerala. The BCCI made sure that when they could not meet payroll, their players got paid. They didn't lose $1 because they had that money in an account with agreement with the bank to release that money once they came and said, we need that money. Okay? In the Bangladesh Premier League, the players must get 50% of their money before the tournament starts. And by a certain point in the tournament, they get another 25%. And at the end of the tournament, they get another 25%. So at least if money is missing, the amount is controlled, because before you go there, you're getting 50% of your money. And after a few games, you get another 25%. So you're guaranteed 75% straight up off the bat. The only thing you're going to worry about now is the other 25%, but it is backed. They back up that money. If you can't pay, if the team cannot pay that last 25%, the Premier League, they take care of it. In Pakistan, they have the same practice, and it's called best practices. Even Pakistan does it. And in Australia, they have a player payment guarantee. And when a player in Australia is not available for their Big Bash tournament or whatever, it's usually the decision of Cricket Australia to say that, Leon Francis, you're tired, you're not allowed to go play in this T20 match for the next week or so. They control it. What we are not used to is the discipline and the control. And we allow our cricketers and the leagues to do whatever they want. The CPL doesn't have any of these guarantees. Why do you have it in India and other countries, but not in the Caribbean? So in saying that, I will just close with saying this, that, you know, we evolve. And I think Mr. Logie mentioned about keeping up with the times, but we only talk about keeping up with the times in certain things. We don't keep up with the times in player making sure that the players are treated fairly, they get the money that they are supposed to get. And part of the reason is that we don't really look at history and see what is the best practice out there. How can we protect these players? A man like Cornwall, if he's selected for a team, we the people have the right to know why he was removed from the squad. Was it behavior? Did he curse out someone? What is going on? Yes, you may have the right to remove him for whatever reason, but I believe the public ought to know why he was removed.
Thank you, Brother Dale. And
Just a comment. But by the way, that was one of the questions I had in mind to ask tonight. No one knows how the CPL players are being paid. We don't know how much Quran is making. We don't know who. And that's one of the questions. Every other league has that laid out, We don't have none in the CPL. And that is one of the main things I was going to ask. I'm glad you brought it up, Dale. So that.
Well, let me say, Prof. Dennis.
Yes.
I don't want you guys to underestimate the power of the cricket show, okay? I don't want you guys to underestimate how much power as a media platform you have in making changes, in putting information, because the information that Dale just shared, it has put a lot of cricketers at ease, okay? Because when they hear that players don't get paid, and last week we discussed the responsibility of ICC all the way to the top to make sure that all the principles of the game are carried down to the very grassroots, to the man who is manning the pitch, who is rolling this pitch, who is setting the field, to the umpires. Not just the players that we talk about, because the players is only a part of the program. Okay? And we're saying that from the very top of the pyramid to the very bottom, there must be people who protect every one of them and is held accountable when something happens and does not go right. And I'm saying this, the cricket show is not something to take lightly. Okay? Not in this day and time, because there are hundreds of thousands of people listening to this discussion right now. And this is going to let them have a different attitude when they see things are not working properly in the West Indies versus what is taking place in Australia and in India and in the UK.
Thank you there. Thank you, Brother Dale, of course, and Professor Sosobon and other contributors. But what we've just been discussing is the importance, and we've heard the very strict rules and regulations pertaining to professional sport, in particular in the United States, but we see a lot of similarities in certain places where people who have put forward various leagues have taken the responsibility to provide and protect the players who they've contracted to have in their organization. These rules currently does not appear to be important in all of cricket, or in certainly a lot of cricket. And the question is, out there, I'm laying it out there, the question is, why are they not out there, and why do they not appear in every single franchise league that is available worldwide in cricket? And maybe it is required for one group to take the responsibility in terms of governance to push for all important information that we've just heard that applies here in sport, because it's important for the players, important for the fans, and of course it's also important for those who are simply on the sidelines on a Saturday or a Sunday or a Monday watching the game, whether you're doing it professionally, playing it professionally, and there are other people who are there betting on it. betting on matches, sports matches, is a very important aspect of the game, which uses if you the bettors support the game because they end up as sponsors, and therefore the people who are going to be betting on the game would require the kind of information that we've just heard shared with us this evening. And with that, I will get off my soapbox, and just for the sake of ask Brother Dale if he has anything else to wrap this up, and we can move on from here.
Okay, thank you, Sir Dennis. The World Cricketers Association, they govern the professional cricketers, and they believe that the ICC should introduce a global arbitration body similar to what FIFA uses in soccer to encourage dispute resolution. The ICC may not be directly responsible for sanctioning tournaments, but the tournaments are all sanctioned pursuant to their regulations. And as such, they should make sure that a system is put in place to verify that payments will be made. That's not necessarily coming from me. That's what the professional cricketers want to see. And as the good professor mentioned, we must believe that our voices are being heard, and we must believe that people are listening to us. And maybe they just never thought about it, but in all other sports, there is a strict governance, and they protect not just the player, but they also protect the spectator, the fan. And that is what is important, because without the fans, there are no leagues.
Sponsors are important too. They are the ones holding the bets, so they're important. Professor, you want to wrap this up? And
no, I think we have said, we have said enough, and they're listening. Okay, they're listening. Don't as I said, information travels directly and indirectly. And all the other sports, the cricket shows, there are a lot of cricket shows out there listening to this cricket show. Okay? There are a lot of cricket shows on YouTube because I listen to them. And on many occasions, I hear them piggybacking. Okay? Because if they're not conflicting with your show, they're listening. Okay? And they're piggybacking on the conversation. So I'm just saying, you have a responsibility here. Started 15 years ago. Well, you have the button in your hands now, whether you like it or not. You've got the button, Leon.
We all do.
go ahead, Leon.
We all do. Thanks for the help and support of everyone.
All right. Okay, well, we will change topic if there's no other comment on that particular topic. And I want to ask Donna if she can tell us what's the latest score in the CPL match in play at the moment.
193, 189 to
190.
Sorry, Donna, give us a report, please.
I heard Leon coming in with it.
No, I asked, please.
Guyana just finished on 195, I think.
195. All right. So
189, sorry.
189
It is 190.
All right. So Donna, after yesterday's match where I think did the Royals not come back chasing a similar score last night to win the match?
Yes, they did.
So can they do it again tonight?
They should. They go out. They shouldn't go out with a bang, even though they're gonna come last still anyway.
Yes. I thought I heard you said something about the Royals finishing second. I think you meant the Warriors, yes?
I said if the Warriors win tonight, they could depends on the net run rate, they could get up to second.
Okay, I see. Yes,
Yeah.
that is basically how I saw it. I wasn't sure
Yeah.
if I'd heard correctly. but-
Yes, if they do well tonight, according to the net run rate, they can get into second position. And that's why they came out playing so hard. Because that's what they're fighting for.
Okay. All right.
Can I ask a question? I hear Dale was saying I think Pakistan and India is in the same group.
Yes, in the Asia Cup.
Okay.
They played today. They played today.
The reason why I want to say that, because I know a couple of months ago we had in this discussion about someone saying Pakistan and India not going to play cricket together again. And that's why I said ICC mean India Cricket Council. It now seems like the ICC with International Cricket Council is take it back from the India Cricket Council and make India and Pakistan play cricket. And that's what we want for the game, India and Pakistan to play cricket. I don't care where in the world they play, but as long as they play just like every other country playing against each other. So I'm thankful for that.
Thank you, Virgil. But you have to remember, Virgil, you cannot believe everything you hear out there unless it's been authenticated. You didn't hear that from India, and I don't think you didn't hear that from Pakistan either. So there are a lot of talk out there. We have to be very, very judicious about whose hears whose mouth we're getting these things from. In regard the CPL, I mean the CPL's wrapping up, and various performances this week has caught our attention, and that is, of course, this was pointed out earlier, Jaden Seal's performance and Django's performance in this week's match. Now, Django's innings, does anyone wish to comment on Django's innings in that match in which I think was it the Falcons won, or is it Antigua?
Django plays for the Falcons.
The Falcons, right. So does anyone wish to comment on that particular?
Yeah, I thought that Django's place is cemented. He had a great knock, a couple of knocks, and he is versatile. But the player I want to talk about is the one from Guyana, the young Guyanese left-hander.
It's Samson.
Samson, that's the name.
Yes, they promoted him to open, and he has done well. Opening.
He has impressed me a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if he's called up to go to India. I would not be.
And in that vein, Leon, I'm sorry to interrupt. What about Alain?
Alan?
Alain. Alleyne. I'm not sure if my pronunciation is correct, but he's another player who seems to be catching the eyes.
A lot of young players are coming up, but to me, the most outstanding is this guy, Samson. To be honest, here's where I stop. They may be good, but I see in this guy talent.
Yeah,
I see in him talent.
Donna, I mean, the pronunciation of my pronunciation may be
Alain.
Yeah, Alain. Okay, that's
Alain.
Yes.
Alain.
What do you think of that young man?
He looks okay to me, but the one I'm impressed with is Ramon Simmons.
Simmons. Yes,
I'm very much impressed with Ramon Simmons. He's the one I am most impressed with.
Yes, that's
Donna, you got to. He's a left armer. So I'm happy to see
I'm very impressed with that young fellow. He gets a few rough up sometimes, but I much like to see him.
No, especially with the closing bowling. I mean, like when he come out with the closing bowling, believe you, he bowled real brilliant. You'll get a 6 or 4 out of him, but he bowled a lot of Yorker and he bowled a lot of ball.
He bowled well. I could see him coming up.
Let me say something about Jaden Steele.
Yes.
As I always said, anytime Jaden Steele make the ball talk for him, he will always perform. When he make his mouth talk for him, he get himself in the problem and he just get licks like hell. He need to make the ball talk and not his mouth. He will do a lot better if he keep his mouth shut and just bowl the ball, let the ball talk for him.
All right. Sounds like good advice there, Virgil. And that caught the attention and the ears of Brother Dale. So What were you thinking there, Brother Dale, when you heard that comment?
It could not have been said any better. Could not have been said any better, and it matches the beauty of Lauderhill with how it was said.
All right.
I back him up 100% with that statement.
There you go, Virgil. Your comment is well noted. And the professor's smiling too. Obviously, he has something he's thinking about.
I don't know what they're doing with Joel Andrews. They left him out of 2 matches. I thought that they would have been grooming this guy, and they have left him out. I don't know, but he's still in the winning squad. He still made the playoff, so he still has a chance.
So let me
just respond. Sorry.
Wait a minute,
Go
Joe.
ahead.
Virgil, Professor has the floor right now. You can come in after Leon. Go on.
Well, I just want to say that, you know, Emmys are getting a little bit inconsistent. And, you know, he's frustrated, you know, when he's leaving the pitch after he makes a stupid mistake, he's ready to break his bat. So I think that we need to schedule a mind power session for him.
Anything to help a young player, it should have been accepted.
Okay. All right. Virgil?
Yeah, I just want to say, no matter how talented you are in cricket, if you're not making runs and you're not getting wicket, you are going to left at the bottom of the table. All he needs to do, go in, take his time. Everybody wants to hit the ball out of the park. You can score many runs without hitting a 6. Hit the ball on the ground, nobody can catch you when you hit the ball on the ground. And he have to learn to do that. Once in a while, when the ball come to hit for 6, yeah, it's just like the president of Guyana was saying about Hitmeyer. One night when the president was on, when I think he just win the election like the night before or something like that, he was saying Hitmeyer want to hit all the ball out the park. And you have to do better than that. And Hitmeyer go back the same night and he do the same identical thing. And he didn't make no runs.
That's what I just said. That's what I just said. You know, you need to get a mind power session.
And he wants to break his bat on his body.
Yes.
All right. So let me ask this question. Does anyone think that with the Cricket West Indies under 19 currently involved in the ODI series with Sri Lanka in preparation for the ODI Cup, does anyone think that Joel Andrews should have been playing in the under 19 instead of sitting on the benches playing 2 T20 matches? Leon?
Well, he's contracted. He's contracted.
That I hear you there, Leon, but the question is, should he have been...
Let me answer the question, because you asked me, should he have been there? I think he would have been served better if he were there. However, in the under 19, right? Playing right now in the under 19. But he's not there. He has to learn where he is. And
the point is made, Leon, but the question simply is, would it have been better for him to have been playing with the under 19 instead of sitting on the bench of a T20 looking out?
You want me to answer that?
Yeah, I'd like your opinion too.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The under 19 team, I think that would have do a lot better for his future.
Yes, I think he should have been better there.
Yeah, wow.
And right now, T20, I think is destroying this young kid. Honest and tell you the truth. On the night, everybody want to make money, but what he's doing is destroying you because you want to go out there and bam, bam, bam. The won the World Cup. I mean, what the under 19 when they're playing, he just stop in there longer and he play completely different. So something is wrong somewhere, but I just hope something come out good for him in the long run. But if he continue like in this way, he gonna destroy his own career by trying to just go out and bang bang just in a T20, and I think that's gonna destroy him.
Donna, you have something to say on this topic.
Yes, I'm saying he probably would have done a better job with the under 19 team, because right now the under 19 team, to me, they're looking good. They're looking very good. So he probably would have made a better showing over there. with the under-19 team. But you know, there's a guy over there that I love to see very, very much. You know, I forget his name now. His name eluding me right now.
What position does he play? Do you know? Bowler,
I
batter?
think. Let me see. Let me go back to my notes here.
All right, you can come back with that. Let me ask
Yeah.
Professor while you're looking for your notes. Do you agree, or do you think that Jewel Andrews would have been better served by being placed with the under-19 in these competition with Sri Lanka rather than sitting on the bench playing 2 T20s?
He should definitely be playing with the under-19. He's supposed to be facing live pitches. He's supposed to be perfecting his craft, and he cannot do that sitting on the bench. He need to come out of under-19 as a superstar, so when they bring him up, they have no hesitation playing him. Okay? If you're going to bring him out of under-19 and you don't think he's good enough to say, listen, we have to give this young man a chance to play because he's burning up the grass. Let him dominate under-19.
Brother Dale, what do you think of, well, perhaps I shouldn't put it that way. Let's hear what you think about the question, should Jewel Andrews have been better served in terms of his development in cricket had he been placed with the under-19 rather than put in the CPL and sit on the bench?
I agree that he would be better served playing for the under-19 team, especially given that it's T20 leagues. And when you see him play, you can see the frustration. I think it might have been Virgil who mentioned it before. You can see the frustration on his face because they put him to open a lot and they expect him to swing for the fences. And that is not helping his cricket at all. He should be playing, you know, with the under-19s and develop that platform. You know, he's too young to have him out there. It's like setting a lamb to the slaughter.
Thank you, Brother Dale. Okay. Donna, did you find your notes?
Yes.
Yes. So who's the player or that
So it's Jonathan Van Lang. I'm very much impressed with him, as well as the captain Joshua Dawn. Those are the two guys who stand out for me in that under-19 West Indies team.
Dorn? I heard Dorn. I didn't get to the name, the first player. What's the first?
Jonathan Van Lang.
Van Lang. Yes.
I'm very impressed with those two guys in the batting department. And I think in the bowling department, there's one guy who impressed me as well.
Is that Boodoo? Is the name Boodoo?
Is it Pollard?
The same Joshua Dawn, I think he bowls as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Joshua Dawn bowls as well. So he seemed to be a good all-rounder coming up.
Okay.
That Joshua Dawn.
Brother Dale, you had
I like those two guys.
You had a name for us?
No, I was just trying to help Donna. If it was Pollard from Trinidad that she was, you know, the bowler that she was speaking.
Are these young men with names similar to Cricket West Indies players? Are they offsprings of these players? Do anyone know? Are
Not
they
that
related?
I know of.
No, I don't know of any.
You know,
Not that I know of.
I hear names which sounds very familiar. Makes me wonder if they were related to all right.
Any present or past.
Dennis.
Yes, go ahead, Donna.
Did you see that controversial finish that I was talking about in the report?
No, remind us about it. Tell us.
In the last game, it was West Indies needing 5 off of 9 balls.
Okay.
And so I forget who was facing, but he wanted to finish the game with one blow with a 6.
Ah, yes.
And the 6, it was caught on the boundary, but then there was a little controversy because they were saying that he stepped on the line.
Okay.
On the boundary ropes. Okay. The on-field umpires sent it up to the third umpires and they ruled it a 6. But then the Sri Lankans, they were like arguing with the umpires, and so they even went onto the field. I saw that.
Ah, well, you know, there is obviously room there for some very stern discussion with the administrators there at Cricket Sri Lanka.
Yeah, it didn't
regarding-
look good. It looked very ugly. So I was
Yeah.
wondering if anybody saw it.
No, unfortunately, I saw, this was the last match.
The last match and the last
Okay.
ball. So
I
the
think-
umpires ruled it a 6. But the Sri
Alright.
Lankans were very upset.
All right.
But I think West Indies would have win it anyway. They had 3 wickets in hand. They needed 5 from 9.
But how many balls to go?
That's what I said. They needed 5 from 9 balls.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it definitely means that something went awry there. I think I'll try and go back to the video recording and have a look and see if I can I see that. You were about to say, Leon?
No, I said I was satisfied with the crowd at the Asian Cup today. I thought the crowd was good. Some
Okay.
say it wasn't, but I thought it was good. And from what I hear, that they were planning not to attend the match, and it was. I've seen Indian, and what a pleasant sight to see Indian and Pakistanis in the stand together, you know, and interacting. I like that. I
And
see.
speaking of crowd, Leon, what about the crowd for the CPL matches being played currently? Does anyone have any comments on the size of these crowds? Is it good, bad?
Only in pieces, in patches. We don't see it all around. When you go Guyana, you see a big crowd. You see a match turnout for Barbados, but in between you have some anything. Rabbits can run in between the players.
Well, I know Virgil has attended 1 or 2 of those matches. Virgil, what was the crowd like?
I attended I think all the matches except the Saturday. I went there the Sunday and it rained the Sunday, but the crowd, I was happy with the crowd. No matter which team they was playing, the crowd, some was bigger than some, but I was happy. But most in Guyana, no matter what game playing Guyana, the crowd turnout is like full, almost full every night. But I'm happy to see the crowd when I was in Antigua. Surprising to see sometimes the amount of people, but it was really good to see the crowd there.
All right.
Virgil, question, Dennis. To Virgil. Virgil, when you say Guyana, you mean Antigua, right? Because Antigua have more Guyanese watching the matches than Antigua, right?
No, when Guyana and Antigua play, that Guyana and Antigua, one of those nights, I think it was really packed. It was packed. Because there are a lot of Guyanese when they come out for the game, which was really good.
All right. Well, thank you all for this. We haven't heard much from Ivor today, but I'm sure he's listening in the background. We're about to wrap up, so let me just ask Brother Dale if he will give a final word on perhaps some of the comments and or, you know, the things we've just discussed briefly with Andrews, the governance issue, final wrap up.
Yes, thank you. And just to go in line with Donna, I've been tracking the under 19 and from the under 17s also, with people like Van Lang that she mentioned, he's from Guyana, and Joshua Dorn. Matter of fact, both of them were involved in a serious match-winning partnership. In Donna would know which match it was, but they both bat very well, and Van Lang comes in later down in the order at 6 or 7. And he had a very good series, all-round series in the our under-19 tournaments. And of course, we know Dorn is captaincy material, it seems. For the bowlers, we have Jakeem Pollard. He's left arm medium pace now. And we also have Bell, who is a spin bowler. And both of them are the most successful wicket takers for the under-19 team. So I think we should just keep an eye out on these youngsters and see when they get fast-tracked into playing for the senior regional teams, because it will take them a while to get to the West Indies team. And finally, governance and these things, once we understand the rules and regulations and do our reading, do our, our basic research, it will serve us very well. And to piggyback on the professor, I know for a fact that people are listening to us, and you'll be surprised. You will start hearing people speak about governance and about payment issues and things like that. Watch that space.
Thank you. Professor?
Well, again, I just want to say that we have a responsibility to introduce cricket in advance of the Olympics. And we have to make sure that any misunderstanding or any lack of knowledge that they have, when they get an answer, it's a clear, clean answer, not one that is debatable or is open for discussion. Okay, it's like when they bring the data to us about what NBA is doing, what NFL is doing, there is no discussion about it. That is the rules established and nobody has any conversation about it. We have to make sure that as we put our reputation on the line, pushing cricket in the United States, that we are making sure that when we say something, it's not a debate. And they understand that 6 months down the road, we're not coming back to change or to tell them something different. We need it clarified now in advance of Olympics coming up and us pushing cricket to the forefront.
Thank you very much. Leon, did you have anything you want to
Yeah,
add?
just to tell the latest score, 19 without loss from 2.2 overs. Was a nice discussion this evening, and I hope the listeners, where they may be, would have gotten something out of it. We enjoy doing it, and I enjoyed it immensely. Thank everyone for their support, and their interest and their input.
Well, all right. Thank you, Leon. And I have one comment, and I'll take some comment back from you before we wrap up. But, there is a saying, and I know Brother Mike will recognize this one, practice makes permanent. So when we take the youngsters, the youth, the under 19, and we throw them in the franchise T20 games, is that likely to be setting them up to fail later on because they've practiced, makes them permanent failure if they fail in the T20 leagues? Can we then look for those youth to develop into first-class cricketers? If we will remember, the former captain of the West Indies, Clive Lloyd, said that first-class cricket, a good background in first-class cricket, will prepare the players to play any format of the game. So when you take 18-year-olds and you throw them into practicing, meaning playing in these CPL games, I shouldn't say CPL, but in these 20-over games, are you making them permanently failures? Because you cannot then take them back to the first-class game and try to iron out all the bad flaws that you've introduced into their playing. So practice makes permanence. Does that mean make permanent failures for our youngsters? I'll take 5 minutes of that if you wish. Otherwise, we can leave it at that.
I believe, though, luckily he has not gone too far, and it's not a first and second play, and then you have a qualifier and a finalist. When once you lose, you get out.
Well,
Meaning that
you're
first
saying
and
that
second, yeah.
you're saying there may be hope for him, yes?
Yes, there may still be hope for us, and room might be there still left for him to play.
All right. Professor, did you have something?
Yes, I am concerned about the mental process that is happening in our in our development on our foundation level.
Mhm.
Because we are saying that we can't have a player that you're training to run the 100 sprint. And then at alert and a little after you tell him that you want him to run the 400.
Mhm.
Because there's a mental preparation that is taking place with that player at 17 years old. What is he trying to do? Is he trying to qualify for the CPL? Is he going out there protecting the wicket? Or is he going out there to show them he has the power and the stamina and the strength to hit sixes? So you're going to face with a choice where he might be talented, but then you have to reprogram him when he gets to, when you get him at the senior level, because his programming at the lower level was all flawed.
Thank you.
Dennis,
Professor, 1 second, Leon. 1 second, Leon. I think Michael Chambers has a comment. I'm certain he has a comment. He's on muted. Mr. Chambers?
Oh, yes, gentlemen, good night again. No, I think these guys are not yet, they're coming into test cricket too late. Most of those guys who came in, Kalicharan and those guys, they came in very early, 18, 19. So what are we doing wrong? We are not doing grassroots cricket. If we were starting this thing from 9, 10, 11, by the time they get ready to 18, they're ready for test cricket. But most of these players are playing not at primary school level. They're coming in at high school level. So that's what we have to look at. We have to start the training real early so that by the time they get to 18, 19, they're ready for test cricket. When these guys coming in at 22, 23, 24, 25, they're ready to retire. So that's my look at the thing. Whichever format you put them in, if they are mentally prepared, they'll be able to change gear. So that's what I'm looking at.
All right, thank you.
I can add something here.
Thank you, Coach Patel. I was just about to bring you in. Yes, carry on. Go ahead, Coach. Coach Patel?
In any sport.
We didn't catch the first part. You want to start again?
I will say 10 to 12 is the beginning, the seeding process, we call it, right? And then you nurture it between to 12 to 16. If it is not going in the right direction, then it's too late, because after 16, you can ask any coach in any sport, they'll tell you there's nothing much you can do as far as developing or training concerned, right? You can mentor them, you can fine-tune them, you can tweak them, but it's not really a platform to build the professional. And that is where India is taking the huge advantage at this point, where they have almost millions of kids playing cricket. Look at that 13-year-old kid playing in IPL, and very first game when he walked into the ground and the way he played the first inning, can you imagine? He is coming in a big ring, like ready to go. No pressure. You don't feel any sense like he is maybe underperforming or he is scared or has some sort of fear. No, it's a good to go. Because that's a platform we need. And West Indies is definitely lacking. Another key part on West Indies right now, I will say, in my opinion, as well as numbers don't lie, the truth always prevails at the end. The West Indies were great because they had a self-capable and self-confident, the biggest thing. If you talk about Marshall, Garner, Roberts, Holding, Ambrose, I can name it, plenty of them, Sobers, Kanhai. These people never had a professional coach in their life. Find me if somebody can do it. They did the hard work. They believe in themselves. They maintain their fitness. They were committed to do well, and that is the glory. Nowadays, we have only two kinds of people. 90% of them are looking for the shortcut. What is the best way to reach up there without doing hard work or without spending time? And you got 10% believe Oh, we need a high performance coach. We need the foreign coach. We need the proper training. We need to have proper grounds. No, sir. Those old cricketers never had infrastructures. Some of them played on beaches, some played in the local towns, and they still become the greatest legends in the world. And why we are looking for all this facility at a millions of dollars and think that will improve the grassroots level program? No, sir.
Right. Well, thank you, Coach. And of course, I want to say thank you to all our fans, listeners, and viewers, wherever you are. You know, we have come to the end of this week's program. We've gone over a little time, but, you know, the chatter was so encouraging, we just could not stop. Professor, thank you for your contribution. Professor Dale, we appreciate your input. Hyacinth, thank you. Get some sleep over there in London. Thank you, Liam, Virgil, Donna,
By the way, good night.
Good
Good night, everybody.
Hyacinth, and enjoy the
28
night.
for 2.